fuck around, I fuck around, I fuck around. I fuck around, I fuck around, I fuck around. And I fucking to left and I fucking to the right. And I fucking when I'm looking and I'm fucking my life, baby. Yeah, I know I fuck in the summer and the spring and the fall. And I fuck them if they're short or they're medium or tall, duty, baby. I fuck around. I fuck around. We're all over the town. I let I fuck around. I fuck around. Well, I'm fucking to the left and to the right. And I'm fucking them black and I'm fucking them white. You know, I bring out the girls and all of the boys, and they play around with their sexual toys. Oh, dude, why is this game taking forever to launch? Uh oh. Uh oh. My name is Sage, and I am so dumb. I do not know how it feels to come. Yeah, I'm sitting in the dark, and I'm thinking about life, and I wish that I was married with a wife. Hey, I fuck around. I fuck around. Was that real just now? Oh, I'll never tell. I'll never tell. All right. What am I doing? I want to play this freaking game, but also I want to talk to people. I want to talk about BS. Yeah, monetize my lack of a life. I have no life. I am lifeless. I should make animations for my players. I actually don't know what any of their characters look like, and I'm pretty sure they have descriptions. Okay, so it just didn't load. I want to play. I want to play Kotor. What the fuck? What's your problem? What's the dealio, huh? There it goes. Hell yeah! The game's launching. I know because the world went dark. You're missing it.
Hell yeah.
Okay, we have an autosave. Undercity. Let's do it. All you had to do is turn it on, as it turns out.
You there, Upworlder! Anyone using this?
Yeah, this is...
I don't believe this planet. 5 credits. That's what it costs.
I hate
Use
looking
our
at 'em.
elevator. 5 credits.
Yuck. Who are you? What are you doing here in the Undercity? I don't have any credits on me. Okay.
We are the outcasts, banished and reviled by those who dwell above.
French.
Here in the filth and darkness, we claw out a wretched existence, scavenging and begging just to survive long enough to see another wretched day.
This is our village. We live here in the Undercity. You have to pay us 5 credits for using our elevator.
Ugh. Do I be a good guy and I give them, you know, eat my ass?
Hush!
Go on, you two. Get out of here.
Hmm.
I'm sorry.
I'm sure you are, miss. It's just too bad your little welcoming committee is here to give people a bad first impression.
Hey, I'm Cran Kasra. Who are you?
My name is Shalina. You're from the Upworld, aren't you? I've never seen it. I was born here in the Undercity. Is it as nice as they say up there?
It's beautiful. You know what? Let's lie.
I've never been to the surface, but sometimes I think I can see it in my dreams. The sun, the sky, the stars. It all sounds so wonderful. Gendar, the leader of our village, tells me I should spend more time trying to improve things down here and less time dreaming about something I can never have. You probably think I'm a fool, having dreams of a place I've never even seen. But when I was little, Rukil used to tell me stories.
I don't think it's a
of what it
weird
was
thing
like
to
up
want to see the sky. Rukil? Who's that?
there. Rukil's the oldest man in the village. The kids call him Rukil Wrinkleskin, but he's a kind man. He used to tell
Kinda
me the
fucked
greatest
up.
stories when I was a little girl. I still like to listen to his tales about the Promised Land, even though I know they're just legends, but it helps to make the Undercity seem less dark.
The Promised Land? What's that?
It's just a story to make little children smile. Rukil believes in it.
Where can I find it?
He's wandering around somewhere on the south side of the village. He doesn't move too far. He's hard on his bones. The children laugh at him, and people think he's crazy because of his stories about the...
Okay.
He'll be somewhere in the village. I couldn't say where for sure. I don't know anything about that, but maybe Gendar could help you. Sorry. Is there any...
Oh my god, you're so useless. Bye.
Oh, okay.
Shut up. Outside of this place.
Wait, Upworlder. You can't go through this gate. There is too much...
Who are you?
I am Isala, healer of this village. I use my knowledge and what little resources we have to care for the outcasts who are sick or injured. But despite my medical training, there is nothing I can do to help the poor souls locked on the other side of this gate.
What are you
The
talking
villagers
about?
infected with the Rukgul disease are quarantined beyond this gate. It's only a matter of time until they transform into horrible creatures that would destroy us all.
So you just lock them away in a cage?
For the sake of the village, we have to keep the infected ones locked away. And when they finally do transform into Rukguls, we'll let them destroy each other.
There must be... Okay, that's pretty messed up. I'm playing a little kind of a hero set. I'm going to through those gates right.
Nothing can be done for the infected villagers. Even the serum to counteract the rat ghoul disease. Nobody would be foolish enough to risk going into the pens to give them the cure. The infected ones could transform into rat ghouls and...
So you're gonna... Yeah, I want to call somebody a coward. Hell
I can't
yeah.
help the infected ones. They have to die so that the rest of the village can live. I accept this. If you think that makes me a coward, so be it. I can't stop you from going through the gates, Upworlder, but if the infected ones have already
Alright, let's save. Let's see what happens.
Please, help us. We're infected with the rat ghoul disease. No! This cannot be. No!
Oh, that was...
back again? Is... Back again?
Okay, I guess that works. I cheesed it. Fuck it. Fuck it, we're cheesing. I'm cheesing, fam. Cheesing. I don't want to do this part ever again, so just save it with that. I'm cheesing, fam. Fam. You got me cheesing?
Please, You have to help us. You will help us? Bless you. We have the rack ghoul disease. It is too late for them. And soon it will be too late for us. Please hurry, Upworlder. Don't forget about us, Upworlder.
Okay, that was pretty good.
Greetings, Upworlder. We rarely see your kind here in the Undercity.
Yeah,
I
this
find it
place
strange
blows.
that so many of you have come down from the surface recently.
You know, why would anyone ever come down here? TBH. This would be so real.
Greetings, Upworlder.
Stink
We
ass,
rarely see
poverty
your kind here in
ridden
the Undercity. I find it strange that so many of you have come down from the surface recently.
No offense, but
Oh,
I can see why people normally avoid this.
that's what I'm
place.
saying.
Why have you come into this dark and sunless place? Is there something you need of me or my village? I will help you however I can.
Who are you people? Why do you live here in the Undercity? You said something about other. Yeah, this is
Our
what I care
village has
about.
seen many visitors from the surface recently. Armored troops, swoop gang members,
Uh-oh.
mercenaries.
Jeez.
They come to search our sunless world. They're even searching the sewers.
I'm looking for a Twi'lek named Mission Val.
Yes, I have seen this Twi'lek many times, though I've never spoken to her. She and her Wookiee companion often pass through our village on their way to explore the sewers.
I know I get
There are
to
two
sewers.
entrances into the sewers from the Undercity. One to the northeast of our village, the other to the southeast. But the sewers are dangerous, Upworlder. If you dare to travel those dark tunnels, you would be wise to go heavily armed, unless you wish to become a meal for the rock ghouls and the other foul creatures.
I want some other
Ask-
questions. The rat
The rat
ghouls.
ghouls are monsters, hideous mutations who feast on the flesh of our villagers. Their diseased jaws can infect those they attack. We know of no cure for the disease, and for the good of the village, we must banish any who...
Okay.
Ask your question. Our village has seen many visitors from the surface.
Okay, wait. How do I get to the sewers
There are
again?
two entrances into the sewers from the Undercity.
Northeast?
One to the northeast of our
Okay.
village, the other to the southeast. But the sewers are dangerous. If you dare to travel those dark tunnels, you...
Okay.
As you wish, Upworld.
Are you the elder? Yeah.
You come from the world above. Is this the time of destiny, then?
Maybe.
Is this a portent of the salvation of my people? Or merely
Perhaps.
another false sign to mislead us from the path?
More
Are
likely
you
than
the
not, yeah.
herald of prophecy, the beacon to guide us through the darkness? Or are you merely another harbinger of shattered dreams and unfulfilled promises?
God, I'm
Be
pretty
careful.
sure it's the
This
second
one
one.
might be crazy enough to be dangerous.
Speak to me, Upworlder. Tell me what...
What are you talking about?
Question. You are uncertain, bewildered, perplexed.
Oh my God.
Understandable, I suppose. Even after 100 years of life, I myself still become confused.
Yeah,
at
oh,
times.
around which sun,
Perhaps I can
huh?
make things more
Years
clear.
on
Some
which
things,
sun, huh?
At least. My name is Rukil, the oldest
Old
outcast
ass,
here in the
probably like
village.
40.
Rukil Wrinkleskin, the children call me
Oh my
sometimes.
God. Okay, bro. Got
Once
it.
I
I'm
was
me.
honored for my wisdom. But over time, the villagers fell away from the true path.
Uh-huh.
Eventually, there was only a single apprentice who followed me.
Hmm.
And now she is gone too.
I wonder why, bro. What happened to your
My
apprentice?
apprentice is lost. I sent her out into the Undercity to find... Please, Upworlder, will you help an old man?
You know what? Fuck it.
Finding her may be difficult. Malia could be anywhere in the Undercity. But if you will find her, I will... I wish you luck.
Alright, cool. Not really what I came here for.
Greetings once.
I have some questions.
I wish.
Alright, whatever. Southeast, so I have to go this way. No? Okay, let's just follow the map up here.
Hey, you ain't from the...
Watch yourself. There's some...
My name... It ain't the best stuff. Most...
What the fuck? Also, wait, I am. Hold on. Dude, I have no health. Ugh. Whatever. Oh.
Hey there, Upworlder. You want to see what I... Yeah, hope...
Hurry, Hindar! Hurry! I can hear it coming!
He'll never make it. He's
He will make it. Run, Hindar, run!
Open the gate!
The mutants will kill him if you don't
And if I open the gate, they'll kill us all.
No! You can't do this! It isn't fair! Please, make him open the gate.
I can't open...
Open the gate, I'll kill the rest.
You'd risk your life for a strange... I'll
Yeah,
open the
fuck it.
gate for you, but you...
Fuck it, let's do it.
Ready?
I think that's the point.
Time to rumble!
Wait. What?
Yes? Thank you for saving Hendar. You are braver than I, Upworlder. Maybe we outcasts have lived too long in selfish fear.
You would have died,
Perhaps
bro.
we can learn a lesson from your brave actions.
Yeah, don't do that.
But enough of my ramblings.
I
Is
died.
there something you need, Upworlder?
Wait, who are
I'm
you?
Trowan, From the outcast village. It's my job to guard... I just guard the gates. Gindar... Goodbye,
I can't thank you enough for saving me, Upworlder. If I had any...
I still have you, Hindar. That's...
Let's actually just go to that one lady. Let's get healed and then go back. Just free healing lady? Why? Yeah. Yeah. Bye.
Back again?
Please, you have to help me. Nobody else is gonna help me. Even the Becks won't help me. But I can't just leave him there. He's my friend. You'll help me, won't you?
Yeah, sure, why not? Whoa, slow down, Mitchell, what's wrong?
It's Zalbar. He's in trouble.
Okay.
Big trouble. We have to help him.
Uh-huh.
If we don't, they'll sell him into slavery.
Whoa, we hate slavery. Your rookie friend, what happened?
Me and Zalbar, we were just wandering around here in the Undercity. You know,
We
looking
hated
for stuff
slavery.
we could find, just kind of exploring. We do it all the time.
I guess with a
We'll
Wookiee
do
at your
it
side,
all
you gotta
the
figure you can handle
time.
the odd rat ghoul attack.
Only this time, they were waiting for us. Gamorrean slave hunters. We didn't even have a chance to run. Big Z threw himself at him and then roared for me to run.
Dude.
I took off. I figured Zalbar would be right behind me. But there were too many of them. He couldn't get away.
Okay. Do you know where they took them?
I don't know for sure, but those Gamorreans like to hang out in the sewers. The stink reminds them of home, I guess.
Get
That's
their
probably where
asses.
they took Big Z.
Get their dumb asses. Fuck you, specific aliens. We're racist. We're racist against you. If I help you get to Zalbar back, you have to get me inside the Volcar base. Well, nah, I'm not gonna do that. Why? Okay. Wait here. I'll be back.
No way. I'm the one that got Zalbar into this mess, so I'm coming with you. I'm not going to abandon him again.
You're a good friend. If I help you get... Okay,
It's a deal. As soon as we get Big Z back, I'll show you a way into that Volker base. Now come on. We have to find Zalbar before they sell him to slavers, or worse.
Do you know where he's being kept?
The Gamorreans make their camps in the sewers. I bet that's where we'll find Zalbar. And that's where I'll show you the secret entrance.
Okay.
Huh?
This auto level up. I don't know.
What?
Huh?
Please.
Wait, here, I'll see you.
No! No! I can see that!
That's not good. Oh. Oh, we're power attacking.
What? You asked for this!
Huh?
Game design. Wow. Alright.
Sure. I'll avoid what I can.
Don't move. I'm not afraid to use this blaster if I have to.
Settle down, kid. We've already lost enough men to those damn rat ghouls. The last thing we need now is more casualties from a needless firefight.
Real.
By the looks of you, I'd say you're down here for the same reason we are. To salvage something from those downed Republic space pods. Let me give you some advice. Forget about it. Do yourself a favor and just head back from where you came. This isn't a good place to stand around chatting. The Undercity is crawling with rat ghouls.
Candace, I heard something. Over there, in the shadows. Sounded like a rat ghoul.
Looks like we've got company. Get those blasters ready, boys. told Davik this salvage mission was a bad idea. His men aren't trained for this kind of thing, and I can't babysit them all. Okay, boys. We're getting out of here before I lose anyone else. I can't carry all this salvage back by myself. You'd be smart to get out of here as well. Even if you can handle the rat ghouls, I doubt there's anything worth finding anymore.
What do you mean about that?
Davik sent me down here with this motley crew to scavenge whatever we could from the Republic escape pod, but the lower city gangs got here first. Anything worthwhile in those What are you, an off-worlder? Everyone knows Davik. He's a member of the Exchange. Smuggling, gambling, extortion...
Yeah, we
Davik...
actually do know.
This isn't really the best place to have these kinds of conversations, but I guess I could spare a couple. The lower city is overrun with gangs, but the two most important ones...
Yeah,
but
I know
lately, the
this.
Black Vulkars... Take these escape pods, for example. Everyone knew Davik would want first crack at them, but I know for a fact those damn Vulkars have already sent their own... Come on, boys, let's...
Yes, what's on your mind? You do? I knew you wouldn't understand where I was coming from. Let me try. You got the skills of an elite commando, and you saved my butt more than once. Between that and your facility with languages, I'm lucky you're here. But
True.
It doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop watching you being wary. I'm just not built that way. Period.
Huh. Why are you so hostile? What are you watching me for?
I don't know that yet. Like I said before, it's probably nothing, but I've been betrayed by people before, and well, it won't happen again. That's all.
So you want some guarantee that I won't betray you?
I don't know that you'll betray me, but there are no guarantees. Not for you, not for me. You don't have to take it personally.
I don't, really. I'm beginning to wonder if you're... Okay. Right, and how am I supposed to know that you won't betray us?
Me?
Yes, you. Why should I trust you, after all? Like you... Yeah.
You shouldn't. If you're smart, you won't trust anyone. Not me, not Bastila, and especially not yourself.
Ah, so you don't trust yourself, is that it?
I don't need to be analyzed, thanks. Can we just get back to business?
I don't need someone around who doesn't trust. So, you sure you don't want to talk about it?
No, I don't want to talk about it. What I want is to save the galaxy, if that's even possible. Why is whether or not I trust you or anyone so damned important? Why do you even care? We don't have time for this, so can we please just
Hell yeah,
drop
I get
it
fucking mad.
now? Can we pick it up later if you really must? I want to get underway.
So mad, bro. Why are you so fucking mad, bro? Fucking chill up, bro. Damn, bro.
Huh?
What?
What?
I should be saving, by the way.
What?
Sure. Time to... Yes? How'd you like that?
Hey there, what can I do? Terrace is a pretty... It can be pretty nasty. And then there's the... Hey, no problem.
Okay, I guess I'm just gonna fucking do the thing where I just run all the way back the way I came. Right? Get healed by that one lady and then come on back. Oh yeah, I meant to see what the fuck these people are.
Back again.
Healing.
Welcome back, Upworlder. Why have you come into the... Ask your... Our village... There are two entrances into the sewers from the Undercity. One to the northeast of our village, the other to the... If you dare...
Okay.
As you...
Alright, and so we came from... Straight up, I forget.
Hey there. Really? You want to know about me? Nobody's ever really been interested in me before. What do you want to know?
How did you and Zalbar hook up?
Big Z's my family, you know? My parents, well, I guess they're dead. It was just me on my own until the day I saw Zalbar in the lower city. I could tell right away he was in trouble. This was before the gang wars were out of hand. But even then, the Volkers were scum. A few of them were hassling Big Z, trying to pick a fight, but he wasn't looking for trouble.
Okay. Go on.
Anyway, I don't like the Volkers at the best of times. And when I saw them picking on this poor Wookiee, all alone on a strange planet, overwhelmed by the big city, I just lost it. I screamed out, "Leave him alone, you core slimes!" and charged right at them. Well, one of them saw me coming and slapped me so hard he just about knocked me cold.
You're lucky he didn't fry you with a blaster.
Hey, I don't need a lecture from you. You ain't my mother. I knew what I was doing. Those Volkers didn't scare me. They're nothing but cowards. I knew how to deal with them. Of course, I never got the chance. I guess Zalbar didn't like seeing me get smacked around. He let out this howl and yanked that Volker a meter up off the ground and held him there by his throat.
What did the other two Volker do?
The other two screamed and ran off. Can't say I blame them. The first time you see an angry Wookiee up close, it isn't a pretty sight. I thought Zalbar was gonna rip that punk's arms off and beat him to death with his own fists. The Volker was so scared, he fainted. Or maybe it was Big Z's breath just knocked him out.
Got his ass.
Zalbar to brush those choppers of his, but he never listens. Just stay upwind when he's speaking and you'll be fine. Anyway, I knew those Volkers would be back with friends, so I grabbed Zalbar and we took off. Ever since then, we've been a team. We look out for each other, you know?
Like, how did Zalbar end up on Terrace?
He was fleeing some kind of trouble back on Kashyyyk. That's all I know, really. Big Z doesn't
you don't know.
matter to me, though. I accept him for what he is.
How did you survive?
Hey, what's that supposed to mean? You think I can't take care of my... In fact, I look out for... Yeah, I suppose you're right. Like I used to tell my brother. Fast talk and slick words.
I didn't know you had a brother.
My brother's a touchy subject, you know? It just so happens I don't really feel like talking about him right now.
Well,
It's
you brought
nothing
him up.
personal. Let's just get back to the business.
You brought him up. Whatever.
Hello again. You... There were quite a few people. Oh.
In case I just need to get the fuck out. Alright.
You there, civilian. This is a restricted area. What are you doing down here?
Look, I've got all my proper security.
Security papers. Oh, you're one of those trackers the commander sent down, right? They should have given you an armed escort. It's nasty down here. We've already lost one patrol. We figure the Rak ghouls got them. We've had so many encounters with those things, we've actually run out of Rak ghoul serum. Plus, we've had several skirmishes with looters from those lower city swoop gangs. I'm telling you, we should just stay in the upper city where we're in control.
You said you lost one patrol already?
Down here, search and rescue. I didn't think they'd send anyone. They were in the southern section of the Undercity when we lost contact. I would have gone to investigate, but my orders are to search for those crashed escape pods.
You just follow your orders and keep looking?
I'd never disobey my orders. I'm not a fan of court-martials and executions. I was just talking, you know. Nothing anyone has to mention to the commander. Come on, Patrol, let's get back to it. The sooner we get this search done, the sooner we can get out of this mutant-infested hole. Move out.
And then we just go the other way and just leave those dickheads to die. Yahoo. I fucking hate the Empire! I hate it!
I'll avoid what I can. Whoever steps on this will get a nasty shock. Whoever steps on this will get a nasty shock. Whoever steps on this will get a nasty shock. Whoever steps on this will get a nasty shock.
Huh?
I think I've been poisoned.
Ready?
Hell yeah. The minefield. He just stands right back up.
Yes?
Then we auto level. Yep. Dude. Matt, oh my god. You know what? This is good though. Let's go heal those people. Let's be big darn heroes, yo. And it's right there, huh? It's right there. I see it. Okay. I didn't want those people to die, so this is good anyways. Outcast, Mahan, in the flower. Well,
Do you have the cure?
I do. Don't worry. I'm here to help.
We have. It is.
I have a cure.
Please don't.
Wait, do I have to talk to the other lady? Well, I have the cure, I think.
Back again.
Oh. Oh. Okay, well, oops. Sorry, bro. Hey, your guy?
Greetings once more.
Your friend is dead. I have her journal. Yep.
It is as I feared, then. She joins the list of those who have given their lives in the service of our... By finding my apprentice, you have proved yourself worthy.
Guide you. I don't even know where to promise.
You are I am old. I have lived 100 years.
Dude, okay, very well. Tell me the history. I'm not really interested.
The great city of Taris covers the entire surface of this planet. There is no land to grow food. Kelp harvests and the creatures of the sea are our own. A century ago, rising levels of toxic pollution poisoned the oceans and famine swept the planet. The rich hoarded food for their own use, and the poor were left to starve and die. But the poor rose up against this tyranny, and civil war engulfed the planet. Millions. The rebellion was crushed in the end. Thousands were taken prisoner. The jail.
Is that how you came to be down here?
Many brave men and women were banished here to the Undercity for their part in the rebellion.
What did you expect? If they could get away with it, the Teresian nobles would stuff their own mothers down here to make more room in the upper city.
Now we live a dark existence beneath the streets of Taris. A life to... Legends tell of a self-sufficient colony founded just before the famine for many years.
Sounds like a myth to me. Something to give the people here some false hope.
I have collected many clues, but I know my... Yes, Upworlder. Well done. I'm afraid that only I...
Okay. Yeah, I don't care about this. I'm gonna go and save the galaxy instead of this cringe.
I saw you talking with Rukel. He told you his legends about the Promised Land, didn't he? He told you all about it. You know, most people don't believe his stories. They figure he's nothing but an old cook. But I think there might be some truth in what he's...
What are you talking about?
For an outcast, I've got things pretty good. The village relies on me to bring in food and supplies.
Oh, you...
I'm an important man. If it wasn't for Gendar, I'd be running this place.
I get the feeling if it wasn't for Gendar, this place would be a lot worse off than it is.
But if Rukel ever finds his Promised Land, I'm sunk. People won't need to...
So So what do you want me
The
to
two
do?
explorers who went searching for the Promised Land, they would have recorded that information in their journals. I'll pay you if you bring all 3 journals to me. The 2 from the explorers, and then I can destroy the evidence and make sure nobody ever finds the Promised Land. I've saved up enough credits for my business here to make it worth your while. Once you have all... Yeah, okay. You'll come back in...
Yeah, I'm not doing that shit. What the fuck? Stupid or something? Something just happened. Oh, the game crashed. Epic. Epic Gungam style. Gungam style. Gungam style. Gungam style. Gungam style. Epic time. Gungam style. Gungam style. Gangnam. Gangnam style. Oh, oh. Gangnam style. Oh. Epic Gangnam style. Epic Gangnam style. Gundam style. Epic Gundam style. Gangnam style. Senior Epic Gundam style. Who are you? I'm so sorry. Telling me tonight. Something so and I came. Is when I sleep. Do I sleep tonight? I'm with your dog. I'm with your run. Many girl was in my life. Gangnam style, Gangnam style, Gangnam style, Gangnam style. Gangnam style, Gangnam style. Oh, Gangnam style. Did it fucking crash again? Why? Never. Mm. What else do I want to stream? Tabletop role-playing games, bullshitting. Really, I just want to talk. I like this game, but it's kind of sleeper. Kind of a just chill out game, which just makes me mad. Mm. Shit. Sorry. I sliced my stomach open a little while ago. I'm cool. I slept all day, so now I have to suffer the punishment of doing that. Oh my gosh, who's playing Baldur's Gate right now? Nice. I don't have much of. Ugh. I, f- I really don't owe her shit, but I should explain why she could not be in the game. Man, I don't know. I don't know if I play. Content creation is hard, man. Yeah, fuck it. We're in a cave, pretending to be inside another cave. It's not what I named the stream. And that makes me kind of upset. Uh,
You know, contrary to popular belief, words have meaning. So what the fuck is this nonsense about Zootopia 2 straight baiting its audience?
That's a good joke, ain't it? Fuck out my motherfucking face. Ain't shit funny right now.
These kids are just making shit up. I hate it. Maybe I am just a full-on hater since I lived through the whole John Locke debacle, but watching queer representation go from a drought to a drip feed, this term blowing up has been driving me insane. Because while being online means nothing is sacred, everything is stolen from AAVE, Gen Alpha is trying to rewrite history to say that unk means uncool, but you know, somehow it's the furries who are the ones that are gonna make me crash out. And that's because, again, words have meaning. And while straight baiting may be really fun to say, watching a term that was originally about companies exploiting queer audiences for profit get used to describe a straight will they won't they romance is a level of slander that I cannot stand for. So allow me as your local fandom elder to complain about pop culture and the tragedy of how anything that goes mainstream will get stripped for parts, muddled until
I thought straight baiting. I thought they were going to talk about like characters who you're led to believe are straight, then become gay. Like they have like a whole like romantic thing like build up over the course of a few moons, and then actually, I'm gay.
people look at you crazy for just using it correctly.
Not even surprised.
Seems hyperbolic to the extreme degree.
So, quick history lesson for those of you who aren't terminally online, but still of your own free will, clicked on a video about straight baiting. And if autoplay brought you here, thank you for the check, YouTube. Queerbaiting is a term that refers to a marketing tactic in which a piece of media will tease the idea of them having LGBT representation, only to tell them to fuck off and then not deliver. This is corporate virtue signaling at its finest, the appearance of inclusion without the substance. And while it would be very entertaining to call Starbucks' whole Pride Frappuccinos queerbaiting, no. That's just rainbow capitalism.
We've got to have money.
3, 6, 5, go. 3, 6, 5, go.
Queerbaiting, as the term was previously used applied to fiction, is when creators hype up a story as having queer characters only for the text itself to never actually commit. And when this term took off, audiences, my generation, had already grown up with all of the implications, the subtext, that, oh, maybe this will be a queer character if the writer tells us it is on Twitter. But at this point, we all weren't kids anymore. Some of us had standards. So saying they were in love off-screen just wasn't cutting it. This was a post-Steven Universe world. If we were getting anything less than Space Rock's lesbians, it was gonna get mocked for its cowardness. Or worse, called bait. Because dangling the idea that a character might come out someday, just to keep queer audiences invested, is how we used to say, a dick move. Naturally, there were different levels to the intentionality and egregiousness of the bait. Some shows famously wanted to provide some actual new representation, explicitly promising a character would be revealed to be gay, only for the actual storyline to give so little, it felt genuinely insulting. I speak, of course, of Voltron.
I've got a class to teach.
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible to describe just how badly Voltron shit the bed with Adam and Shiro. And it's like, I just don't know how to explain it. Thankfully, I got a guy.
Oh god, did someone say Shiro and Adam? Imagine being a Voltron fan, like a normal Voltron fan, and you just got done with season 6. Crazy Keith and Shiro fight, he almost dies. His hair's white, and his arm's gone like he fend a human. That season 7 trailer hit, we see Shiro looking in a longing fashion at what seems to be a male figure. Oh, is that legit crew representation of my Voltron? The crew has acknowledged the clan's nomenclature and played in our faces, but I think he actually gay. Oh yes, look, he is actually gay. W Netflix for the promo. As a loyal at that time Voltron fan, I can't wait to see how this develops Shiro's character and how this mystery figure gets developed as well. He's gonna be in a flashback and die off screen, isn't he? God damn it, I guess I have to vicariously live through fan art and fan fiction because we won't actually know how this guy is because he's barely characterized in the like 5 minutes he has on screen. And of course at the end, Shiro gets his courtesy post-credit scene, boyfriend that we'll never know.
Company really said, oh yeah, we got some rep, butts got put in seats, only for people to watch one of them get buried in one of the most infamous barrier gays of the late 2010s. Promises were made, they were not delivered, and the attempt to course correct was so tacked on, it genuinely would have been better if they did all of this no promotion and just tweeted, oh yeah, FYI, Shiro's a switch, as at least then people wouldn't have gotten their hopes up and had to suffer through whatever this was supposed to be. Now, the devil is in the vague details, as queerbaiting is admittingly fandom nonsense. It ran on vibes. Some shows were deemed to have promised more than they gave, therefore got labeled bait, while others only gave scraps and got away with it. Then, most infamously, there was whatever the fuck Sherlock was doing.
On the house for you and for your date.
Do you want to eat? I'm not his date.
For how much the creators kept saying that the characters aren't supposed to be gay, they really leaned into the idea whenever it suited them. Often to a point where even if they were trying to show an intense fraternal bond, having Sherlock refuse to deny the idea that he's into men after saying he isn't into women is an insane stunt to pull. Because that shit happened in episode 1.
You don't have a girlfriend then? Girlfriend? No, not really my area.
Do you have a boyfriend? Which is fine, by the way.
I know it's fine.
And?
Look, to be fair, older media should be given some grace. Nobody should be watching Crossfire and complain about how they don't address how the main character isn't explicitly gay like he is in the book. But this was made during the Hays Code and people are getting arrested for this shit. So yeah, we're gonna give it a pass. But as those topics and these depictions became more acceptable, people's expectations grew. It went from a small wink and a nod that only queer people would get to a demand for it to be obvious to everyone watching. Everyone's personal standards are different on what counts as good rep and when subtext is acceptable, but even if it came out years earlier, I don't think anyone was going to be happy with what Sherlock did.
How many times Sherlock was not my boyfriend?
Live and let live. That's my motto.
The problem with Sherlock is that even if you didn't want John and Sherlock to get together, the fact that the show treats the idea of them being a couple as a punchline, it was weird. Haha, funny the first time, but the fact that it becomes a recurring bit, that's a little shady. That's a little strange. Especially with how all of John's early love interests are just a distraction from his partnership with Sherlock, leaving the story in a place where I never really thought they were gonna end up together, but I think there is a bit of a disconnect between the writers and the fans, as the rabid LGBT, very young fans who enjoyed this show, they grew up consuming stories that use very specific kinds of subtext and tropes. So seeing them all happen in Sherlock had people thinking they were gonna get more than what the show actually wanted to give. Then Sherlock kinda came off as pretentious and shady by how much they started to regularly make fun of its fan base. Mocking the fans who spent years trying to come up with theories about how Sherlock faked his death, being told by the show's creators that it was a puzzle that anyone could solve, only for it to turn out to be some shit that nobody could have guessed. And they also were making fun of the shippers, which fair, but at a point, it really did feel like they would have moments just to bait these people. See, Sherlock was about to leave the country and started to give what sounded like a love confession, only for it to turn out to be a joke. Again.
What? John, there's something I should say. I've meant to say always in there, never have. Sherlock is actually a girl's name.
say what you want about people misreading two bros who are just really close, this is clearly intended as a fake out, to bait people's interest, and for those who came in like wanting this to happen, to see that rep, this must have sucked so badly. Now I know what you're thinking. When the fuck am I gonna talk about Zootopia? The answer's in a few. As you see, I first need to establish the history and intention behind the term queerbaiting, as it builds to my ultimate point about why its spin-off is derivative nonsense. Context is king, and it's a lack of it that allows something like straight baiting to come to prominence. That, and it is objectively funny to say. But if I were to break down why this term was able to so quickly get taken and used the way that it was, it isn't just a misuse or failed attempt to reapply the term bait to apply to Judy and Nick. I have to admit that fandom in general made this shit super easy, as queerbaiting at its core is about being promised then denied on-screen representation. Fuck the, oh yeah, IRL person is queerbaiting us. That will just never end well, and puts a lot of pressure on people to perform in a very specific manner, and it's just, don't be doing that shit, please, I am begging you. However, when it comes to fiction, when we look at what people were asking for as proof of a character's queerness, then it pretty much was the same thing in every major example. Ships.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Now this is the channel that the linguistic drift traveled through, allowing straight baiting to be used the way that it is, and to have it make sense. When it came to the presentation of queer characters, the increasing desire for explicit, undeniable representation to not be a wink and a nod, but a fact that these characters and people exist. The emphasis in fan discussions was always put on characters getting to express their sexuality with relationships. Queerness doesn't supersede where a person was born, how they were raised, or what race they are. Meaning there can't be a standard way to really present a queer character without starting to lean into stereotypes, making the easiest way for a story to show a character is queer by having them just be in a relationship, as that is the thing people would have gotten mad about 40 years back. But making getting together the end-all be-all, create the situation where if someone is just hearing people talk about queerbaiting without any greater context, it will often just read like the whole point is that a gay couple didn't get together, which is why straight baiting had such an easy time being adopted as a joke term, as casual use becomes common use, and after a while it becomes the norm.
This is not your worst idea.
Wow, that was almost a compliment.
Your worst idea is what you did with your ears.
Judy Hopps is significantly thicker.
Pardon?
I was paying attention. You clearly weren't.
So let's just get this out of the way. If straight baiting was an actual flip on queer baiting, it would mean promising a hetero story to lure in a straight audience, only to give them a queer story. A phenomena that actually kinda exists, but it only happens once in a blue moon. Specifically, the only example that really came to mind was the promotion for Brokeback Mountain, where some of it emphasized the gay cowboys' relationship with their wives versus the actual romance of the movie. It wasn't the total thing, but it did happen occasionally with some of the posters. This case would be an actual proper use of the term straight baiting, but given homophobia being what it is, tricking an audience into watching a movie about queer characters is not even close. It's not offensive, as tricking the largest audience possible into watching a story is what every movie does. And what makes queerbaiting so annoying is that it targets a group of people already at a disadvantage, because society, and tricking them into supporting something that they wouldn't otherwise do, as instead they could go see an actually queer story. As really, it's about representation, not shipping. And given how any piece of kids media can have a boy and girl kiss with no pushback, only for a movie to endure relentless harassment over minor lesbian characters being in the background and married, it's clear that the straights aren't lacking in representation, nor do they really get any heat for it. So straight baiting can never be a real issue, as it's the dominant expected norm. Meaning what people describe when they talk about Nick and Judy is it's just will they, won't they bullshit.
You know, the truth is I just don't want you to get hurt because... Abort! Abort! Because no one else in the world matters more to me.
Yes, I would absolutely describe the way Disney marketed and wrote Zootopia 2 as bait. It's there to build interest and get people invested in the story that they're telling. But the ending of Zootopia 2, it could lead to something more later. It is not a hard dissertation or disapproval of everything that the movie did or how it was marketed. I do think American audiences have been brain-rotted by the constant romantic subplots in movies, so much so that interactions that would have no extra meaning if it were two men suddenly get put in extreme romantic light when it's just, guy-girl. Pacific Rim being the easy example to point to, where in a world where piloting a giant mecha requires two characters to know and understand each other, the process of the main two growing closer together, people thought this was romance when really it was just supposed to be friendship. Zootopia 2 though is not doing that friend shit, as not only are they sent to partner counseling that is designed to read like couples therapy, the movie is centered around their communication issues and their differing values and how those cause a rift. It also opens up with them pretending to be a couple and referencing the fucking abortion comic. This film is milking the hell out of people who want to see them as a romantic pairing. You can be disappointed that it doesn't end romantically, but, and here's the big thing, you can't say that this movie didn't tell a story about them. Nick and Judy's connection is the heart of this film. It is the focus of both of their characters, with the admission of how much they need each other and what they have to work on serving as the emotional climax to both of their stories. It drives the entire story, when if this was actual straight baiting, this film would have had them fake being a couple at the start, then not talk to each other for the rest of the film. There's a chance that they're gonna get together in the third film that they're gonna make since this is the highest growing animated film ever, not named Neja 2. I think they'll get together in the third film, but also there's a chance they won't, if only because Disney is afraid of angry letters from parents of how they had to talk to their kids about two fictional animals from two different species ending up together. Now, I know the question the few of you who made this far are asking. What is the point of any of this? Is this really me just being pedantic about language? Yeah, basically. As I'm not a fool, I know there's nothing to be done at this point. The genie is out of the bottle and nobody who uses straight baiting is actually guilty of anything. So if I see anyone getting mad at other people using it, I'm going to be extremely disappointed in you. As I thought my fan base and viewers are better than that. As I would never advocate for harm to come to anyone, publicly. Now, the real reason I made this video is just to kind of make a note of something that I noticed and vent about its inevitability. Words have meaning, but that meaning is constantly changing whether we want it to or not. Queer used to just mean strange, then it became a slur that was then reclaimed. It's happening all the time constantly, but it does make me sad that something that once had a very specific meaning to me when I was growing up has now come to just be watered down and used in such a way that it starts to lose its original intent, disconnecting from that previous usage, and just who knows in another 10 years what it might be. So even if it is inevitable, I don't think that means the term's change should go unremarked upon. So here I am shouting the context into the void for any who would listen. And note how it sucks that something that is happening to me already happened. As queer baiting didn't originate on Tumblr, it was an LGBT version of race baiting, which is the incitement of racial hatred often for political purposes. Because like everything else with queer lingo, it originally came from black people.
True! You're welcome.
If you want a science fiction story, you'll almost certainly have some kind of faster-than-light travel in it. It's by no means necessary. The Martian is a great book, and in theory we could do just about everything in it right now. But for the most part, people expect to be gallivanting around the galaxy at speeds faster than light can go, and for us super nerds, we like an explanation for how that kind of thing works. After all, the only way you can reach FTL speeds requires, as we understand it, infinite energy, which is impossible. As a result, most sci-fi settings have a way around this, giving us all sorts of fun ways to tell Albert Einstein to get bent. The game FTL is jump beacons you can catapult yourself to and from. Halo has slip space, which varies from the wormhole dimension to the terrifying realm of shadow and darkness that corrupts space-time itself, depending on if the Foreigners and Flood are involved. And in 40k, we've got plenty of options to choose from. If you need to get somewhere quick, there's no better option than the warp, and at the same time, there's no worse option. Jump into hell and roll those dice. The Elder have the Webway, the Necrons have the home invasion version of the Webway, the Tyranids have gravity. If you can think of it, you can probably find an FTL type in Warhammer, so let's discuss the standout ways that people in 40k throw themselves across the galaxy. Because in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, if you don't have something to pull up on your enemies at with a moment's notice with, then you just can't cut it as a faction. But before we begin, did you know it's just about summer? A time to be enjoying the outdoors, the nice fresh air, and all the benefits of this time of year. And if you're like me, you enjoy listening to something while you take a walk or do whatever else, in which case I have the perfect thing for you. Raycon, the sponsor of this video. Introducing the Raycon Everyday Headphones. These bad boys are the perfect thing to take with you on a nice summer walk, while you clean the house, or anything else. At half the price of other brands, they're already putting their best foot forward, but that's hardly all they have to offer. For one, a 40-hour battery life. You can use them for almost 2 days straight before they need a recharge, which is perfect for those of us who tend to forget electronics need electricity to work. And aside from giving you high-quality sound, they're also incredibly comfortable to wear because of the ergonomic design. I like to...
Shit.
FTL in Warhammer is, as I said at the start, fairly varied. Much like early Stellaris, there's multiple types of FTL travel, even if one of them is the most common. As current-day Stellaris has hyperdrive travel as the most common, so too does 40k have warp travel as the most common. A good amount of the factions make use of the warp to some degree or other to get around, and naturally some do it better and some do it worse. Although as you'll come to find out, better and worse are almost completely relative to the factions involved. First off, of course, is the Imperium. Imperial warp travel is one of those things that probably has gotten a lot of people into the setting after it's described to them. A young Warhammer fan in the making asks, hey, I see this cool sci-fi setting and those ships look cool, how do they get around? And then someone responds that they get around by jumping feet first into literal hell, which is naturally going to intrigue almost anyone. Sure enough, that's how the Imperium of Man gets around, utilizing the warp to achieve faster than light travel. Consequently, every time they do so, as I said, they're rolling the dice on things going well. Before I get into the various issues they face, I will say that the Imperium is smart enough to realize that jumping into hell on blind faith alone is a truly horrible idea. Except for maybe a ship entirely crewed with Sisters of Battle, but that generally isn't a thing. So the various methods the Imperium uses to keep things safe are instead employed. First off is the Astronomicon. This is the most important thing there is for large-scale warp travel. With how tumultuous the warp can be, something to act as a lighthouse for anyone traveling is a necessity. Created by Big E himself, initially this was more of a stopgap measure. The Emperor wanted to eventually instead convert to using the Webway, which we'll talk about later, but for the time being that wasn't anything close to feasible even for him, so instead the big lighthouse was created. After the Horus Heresy, this was the only option remaining between Magnus breaking the Webway project and Horus breaking the Emperor, so now we're just stuck with it. The Astronomicon manifests as a massive flame of golden light, filling the minds of anyone who can detect it with images of holy saints and the Emperor and all the gothic imagery that makes the setting so fun. Since the average person looking into the warp just results in insanity at best, the Imperium instead uses navigators to detect the Astronomicon and guide a ship through the warp. While it isn't perfect, without the Astronomicon and navigators, there'd be no Imperium. Since it's so important, the Astronomicon is maintained alongside the Emperor by way of feeding him roughly 1,000 psychers a day to keep it going. This is one of the most brutal fates in the setting since it completely drains the soul of the psyker in question into the Emperor and Astronomicon. Prior to this, they're of course in excruciating pain, and if I remember correctly, it's so brutal that the devices used are actually self-cleaning, because when they're done, the psykers just turn into ash. Get a broom and you're ready for the next guy to have his soul sucked. The Astronomicon also causes something called the Fire Tide, which although I believe was only mentioned in the book Talons of Horus, I don't think has been properly retconned, so it's still worth talking about. Where the light of the Astronomicon touches the Eye of Terror, it creates the Fire Tide. It's a giant wall of golden flame that scours planets clean and manifests insane rage demons of the Emperor. They really hate chaos, but they also just go berserk on anyone who comes close. It's also created a nicer fellow known as Imperius, an avatar of Big E who's overall pretty chill. For the opposite of chill, however, it's usually a wise idea to not mention that the Astronomicon worked perfectly fine without the Emperor sitting on the Golden Throne. I don't know how your average Imperial would come across this information, but if they did, it'd be best to keep it to themselves so they don't get beaten and killed for heresy reasons. The Astronomicon is all well and good, but it's more of a large-scale thing. It allows the Imperium to function galactically, but individual ships still need their own protection. on. A lighthouse warning you of danger, after all, is useless if you have no means of avoiding the danger. And so we come to the second mainstay of Imperial warp travel, right? The Geller Field. The Geller Fields of an Imperial ship are a sort of shield around them activated when transitioning through the warp. It essentially allows for a bubble of real space to be maintained around the ship, keeping all the nasty things that would otherwise get in, out. The Geller Field is a mechanical thing. The machine that makes it is mechanical in nature and not entirely magical warp nonsense. That being said, magical warp nonsense is of course still involved. Though off the top of my head I can't remember if I read this in official lore, I feel comfortable saying that part of the reason Imperial ships are blinged out in golden statues of the Emperor is partly because it actually helps to drive off the warp more effectively. Belief is a tangible thing in 40k, and so the belief that these statues actually help strengthen the Geller Field in turn causes it to be so. The other bit of magical warp nonsense is the sleeping Psyker, whose dreams help power the field as well. This is a bit newer to official lore, but within GW writers this was apparently something that was more or less always taken as fact. The dreams of this Psyker help create and sustain the field, which to me is kind of like fighting fire with fire, and I mean that in the productive slash and burn kind of way to stop wildfires, not the this is a really stupid idea kind of way. This does create some lore problems, however. Geller Fields were invented during the dark age of technology, before Psykers were running around everywhere. Powering them with something that didn't exist is naturally impossible. Additionally, that's a whole lot of people the Imperium has to chew through, since now every single ship needs not only use a Psyker to travel, but also needs to replace them quite frequently. And if we really want to double down on the issues, in some of the old source books for the Rogue Trader RPG, there were descriptions of different patterns of Geller Fields which seemed to be entirely mechanical. That being said, I do have some counter-arguments. The idea of logistics is something that, let's be honest with ourselves, doesn't have a very firm relationship with 40k. Goofy-ass lore blurbs are what the setting is built on, and when you travel at FTL speeds by jumping into hell, then how much is logic worth anyways? If the Imperium wants to waste billions of Psykers annually by using them as ship batteries, then who are we to judge? As for the numbers specifically, at least, that's something that newer lore actually fixes a little bit. Psychic Awakening saw countless more Psykers being awakened amongst mankind as the Great Rift tore across the galaxy. With all these new Psykers, the logistical issues of using them as batteries for Geller Fields is much less prevalent. And I don't think it's ever been specified there needs to be a certain grade of Psyker for it to work, just that you need a Psyker. Grab some weaker ones for the merchant ships and plug them in. And with the dark age of technology, it's not a stretch to say those Geller Fields were different in what powered them. Some form of tech might have been a replacement for the Psyker. Alternatively, the warp was more stable back then, so maybe those Geller Fields were ultimately weaker, but due to the circumstances of their use, they didn't need to be as strong as Imperial ones. Together, the Astronomicon and Geller Fields are what make warp travel possible for the Imperium. Without the Astronomicon, no one would know where they're going well enough to make long-distance jumps, being limited to, at best, a series of smaller jumps across space. Travel times would be exponentially longer, and desperately needed reinforcements would never make it in time to their destinations. Without Geller Fields, ships would enter the warp and get swarmed by demons as often as not. And to be fair as possible to the Imperium, on the large scale, both of these things work incredibly well. The countless millions of merchant ships and military patrols not actively seeking out conflict perform their duties with minimal issue. Travel times are accurate enough that anything from military campaigns to shipments of food to hive worlds mostly make it on time, with delays that quite frankly aren't even necessarily worse than real-life travel delays. Anyone who's had to spend their whole day in an airport because of a delay knows that shit just happens on occasion. Genuinely, on the large scale, Imperial warp travel is incredibly reliable for the dangers and difficulties inherent in using hell as a method of commuting to work. That being said, things can still go wrong all the time. How interesting would it be to talk about if things didn't regularly go wrong? The simplest thing that can happen is the Geller Field fails. If that happens, you're at the mercy of the warp to not flood your ship with demons, and the warp being the warp, that's asking for a lot. Theoretically, you can get through a warp jump without a Geller Field, in the same way you can sail the Atlantic in a canoe. You can do it, you just really shouldn't. It's opening the door for any demon noticing you passing by to pop in for a visit. Even with a fully functioning Geller Field, demons can still break through the ship if they try hard enough and are sufficiently powerful. It's just that a lot of the time it isn't much worth the effort required. Nurgle and Slaanesh even have specific ways to dick with ships traveling through the warp. Nurgle has the Geller Pox, which infects a failed Geller Field and causes every engineer around it to turn into zombies while the generator shits out demons and whatnot. The Geller field does need to be broke for it to happen, but even the slightest issue is enough. Better make sure all the screws are nice and tight, otherwise it's time for Nurgle's demon diarrhea. Slaanesh meanwhile has the Lady of Voids. If the Astronomicon is a lighthouse, the Lady of Voids is a siren, luring unsuspecting navigators and Imperial ships to their doom. Even if everything's working perfectly though, we do have issues that just happen as a result of warp travel. Time travel is not only possible, but somewhat expected. Sometimes it's not time travel as it is a delay. A travel time of 2 weeks took 2 weeks and 3 days. That's again the kind of thing that happens in real life with normal weather. But when 2 weeks turns into 2,000 years, we have entered time travel territory, and when you exit the warp at an earlier date than when you entered it, there is inarguably time travel occurring. Sometimes a crew can be dead from the jump, but a warp time travel occurrence means people can see them after they're dead. That happens in the Rogue Trader Omnibus. The main character was part of an Imperial fleet, and after a warp jump, he saw one of the ships was completely devoid of life. Cue another warp jump, and he was talking in a meeting with the very captain of the doomed vessel. He didn't mention them dying because he didn't feel like it would make a difference, the warp having already sealed their fate, and if I remember correctly, everyone else involved in the conversation did the same thing. Sometimes Imperial ships will jump to a distress signal, arrive and find nothing, and then get assaulted by enemies. They send out a distress signal, which is then picked up by none other than themselves. Plenty of more minor issues can happen too. Small mutations from warp exposure, bits of the crew going insane, damage to the ship. Warp travel is extremely dangerous even when all the proper precautions are taken. The film Event Horizon, in spite of not being a 40K film, is considered by many to be a soft prequel to the setting because what it depicts can pretty handily be explained by a warp jump going wrong. Once you cross the barrier between reality and unreality, your ship getting possessed is honestly one of the lesser issues you might face. The Astronomicon itself also has inherent problems with it. Perhaps the most worrying is that one day it's gonna go out. The light bulb will burn out about the same time the Emperor does, and the Golden Throne creeps closer to failure with every day that passes. I would bet my life on this never actually happening, because then the setting implodes, or if it does happen, there'll be some miraculous out-of-nowhere fix to keep it around, but it is a danger that will eventually happen, author fiat notwithstanding. As a lighthouse, it can also be used by anyone with the eyes to see it. That's why the Tyranids are beelining it towards Terra, and anyone else with the capability can use it to navigate just as well as any human navigator does. This isn't an issue with traveling per se, but something that could pose a problem to the Imperium if GW didn't hate Xenos. And another mundane problem it has is that the Astronomicon has a maximum distance you can see it at, around 50,000 light years, give or take a few tens of thousand depending on circumstances. The farther you go, the less clear it is until it's impossible to see, turning every warp jump into essentially a blind one. Among other reasons, that's why the contents of the edges of Segmentum Ultima are largely unknown to the Imperium. No one wants to explore areas the Astronomicon doesn't light. Warp storms are another problem anyone traveling the warp faces. It's just what it sounds like. In a given area, the warp is all sorts of messed up and violent, making warp travel basically impossible. Once again, you can try it and can theoretically live, but the only people who are doing that are folks with ultramarine grade plot armor or better. For the most part, a jump made in a warp storm is consigning everyone on board the ship to a gruesome end. These block out the light of the Astronomicon, rendering warp travel even more dangerous. The Great Rift blocks off the Astronomicon from half the galaxy as well, making it somehow even shittier than it already was. Fun fact though, warp storms are purely localized to the warp. They aren't actually rifts into real space, it's only the warp that's acting up, while real space is unaffected by warp storms. If you use one of the FTL methods that don't utilize the warp to some extent, or you don't mind waiting several years to travel between systems at sublight speeds, travel is perfectly possible because real space is unaffected. There are also warp gates for those of you who want a bit more certainty in your warp travel. Though still warp travel, warp gates are essentially wormholes that lead from one fixed point to another. They're damn near perfectly safe and are just about the only spots in the galaxy you can enter the warp without some kind of protection. Unfortunately, they're incredibly rare. No one even knows if they're natural or artificial, and the line only gets blurrier because some of them have been enhanced through artificial methods, but their origins might still be natural. They could be an old one thing, since a warp gate is pretty similar to the northern and southern polar gates of Chaos in Warhammer Fantasy, but even if they are artificial like that, no one knows how to make them anymore. Any that are found become natural hotbeds of activity for no other reason than their safety and reliability. Even if the route they lead you on is a bit out of the way compared to normal warp jumps, that level of security is worth the extended travel times. They still have problems, of course. Some of them do lead into the warp rather than back into the materium, and for the rest, just because they lead to real space doesn't mean they lead to safety. Jumping into a black hole isn't much better than jumping into the warp, even if your soul is probably better off from that particular death. Chaos also, of course, makes use of warp travel in ways that are both safer and far more dangerous than the Imperium. On the plus side, Chaos Space Marines are devoted to chaos, and as such will have less need of a Geller field, since they may well have blessings of one or several Chaos Gods backing them up. Nurgle, for instance, probably won't dick around too much with the Death Guard's warp jumps. And since they more or less live in the warp, being stuck in the Eye of Terror for 10,000 years and even still largely confined to the Great Rift, mutations don't really mean much to them either. Living in the warp has made even the Marines of Khorne who despise sorcery at least moderately proficient at navigating its currents. On the other hand, they're inundated in the warp with minimal protection. It's still incredibly dangerous, and just because it's less likely to kill them doesn't mean it's not a very real possibility, and in some ways it's even worse. The Chaos Gods are all roughly equally happy to insult Imperial ships. Chaos vessels, meanwhile, might have one god maybe backing them up, two gods that would be fine if they're killed, and one god that would be ecstatic if you sunk into the warp and died. Even for undivided warbands, the best you can hope for is apathy from the big four Chaos Gods, and them leaving your survival to your own ability and the whims of the warp itself. Not for the faint of heart, but ultimate power and demonhood are in their eyes worth the price. Tau FTL is in part where warp travel being better in wars between factions comes into play, although to a lesser extent than the green goobers we'll be talking about shortly. The Tau F2 FTL methods I could find, one of which is a warp drive. The warp is often described as an ocean, and much like almost every science fiction setting ever, the whole concept of navies and space travel is likened to sailors voyaging across the sea. Imperial warp drives, however, I would wager are closer to a submarine, diving headfirst into the warp and emerging back above water, or rather back into real space once the voyage is over. The Tau Ether drive, or gravitic drive, meanwhile, is much closer to properly sailing the warp because it only skims the surface. Rather than a submarine, it's almost like a rock skipping across the water. They briefly enter the warp for a little bit and then head right back out before making another jump and repeating the process. This, of course, has pros and cons, and this time we'll go through the bad things first. It's far slower than Imperial warp drives in pretty much all ways. The Tau can't jump across the galaxy nearly as quick as the Imperium, nor can they jump for as long as an Imperial equivalent can. Being several times slower than an Imperial drive, this means the Tau can't respond to threats nearly as quickly as the Imperium can, nor can they do so with nearly as wide a range of forces. The Imperium can call for reinforcements from sectors away, the Tau have to make do with solar systems away. An issue not inherent with the drive itself is the general lack of Geller fields the Tau have. A Geller field isn't a camouflage system, it's a shield of reality to keep the warp out. The Tau don't have this. If a Tau ship is noticed by the denizens of the warp, there's little that can be done to prevent them from assaulting it. Tau ships are also entirely reliant on computational power to navigate the warp, which, while possible, requires absurd levels of computer power to do, and at the end of the day will never be fully reliable. Chaos is predictable in that you can predict what any of the Chaos Gods want at a given moment, but the warp is a nightmare of random bullshit at the best of times. Trying to make 2 + 2 = 4 is impossible as often as not. That being said, the pros outweigh the cons in my opinion in no small part because of the Tau.
Yeah, man, I've been trying to start streaming more often. Every Wednesday I do a stream of a tabletop role-playing game, and I'm thinking about running more, but I want to do like paid games.
Galactic position. The Imperium needs to make quicker warp jumps at the expense of total safety due to their position as the galactic superpower. With the threats they face, they absolutely have to send in reinforcements from across the entire galaxy sometimes. The Tau, meanwhile, don't really face threats on that scale yet. I'm not totally downplaying them. They've faced monstrous threats before, such as Tyranid High fleets and Orc Waz, but not on the scale of the Imperium. How concentrated they are is another reason they don't need the speed of Imperial warp jumps. Your reinforcements being limited to only those within a few solar systems means a lot less when that's where they'd be coming from anyways. Even if the Tau could cross the galaxy in an instant, it wouldn't matter because no Tau reinforcements are coming from across the galaxy. Similarly, no expeditions to expand their empire are going that far. I'm sure you could find the occasional Tau ship anywhere in space. It's a big galaxy out there, who's to say the Tau version of an explorer fleet isn't out there somewhere, but no massed expansion like that. As for safety, them lacking Geller fields isn't that much of a pain. The far smaller warp presence the Tau have means they're far harder to detect even in the warp itself. It can absolutely still happen, and if it does, it's probably game over, but the race essentially has Halo active camo on at all times when it comes to demons. In fact, I'd say that's a pretty good way to compare the Imperium and the Tau when it comes to warp travel. Geller fields are like when you pick up an overshield in a multiplayer match. The Tau, meanwhile, have race-wide active camouflage. Their auxiliary races have a far greater warp presence, but their numbers aren't usually enough to present a beacon to any demons in the warp compared to all the Tau. They're also not entering the warp nearly as deeply, further limiting the chance of demonic incursion. And as for them relying on computational power to navigate, while trying to navigate the warp with technology is very unreliable, the Tau have gone through several sphere expansions thus far. Clearly it works well enough for them, or there'd be no Tau Empire. The shorter jump ranges absolutely help with this, since plotting a warp jump over a few systems is far easier than a warp jump over an entire segmentum. Things can still go wrong, like with the fourth sphere expansion causing most of the expeditionary force to be killed by demons and the rest to go at least a little bit insane, but overall it's still fairly reliable. The Tau also have access to the ZFR Horizon Accelerator engine, and depending on how you read the lore, this is now the main and only thing they have. If my understanding of how the fourth sphere expansion worked is correct, then the etheric drive may have been retconned to have been invented here with it, but for the sake of fun and having more options, I like to think they're both available now, if nothing else. Everything's canon but nothing's true after all. What's one more FTL method compared to some other shit GW has tried to push? The ZFR is essentially just a light speed engine. It doesn't quite reach the speed of light, but due to actual, real, relativistic science, the crew experiences time at a far slower rate compared to the rest of the galaxy. While this does mean reinforcements are coming in slow as hell, even compared to the previous method of Tau FTL, at least for sphere expansions, it does mean the crew of your ships won't age to death by the time they get where they need to be. The pros and cons of this are fairly predictable. The only real con is the speed, but because of how slow it is compared to everything else, it's a major one. This is a sub-light speed engine. They're not actually going at FTL speeds with it. The reinforcements are not arriving on time. Alpha Centauri in real life is about 4 light-years away. If the Tau were trying to assist a system of an equivalent distance, the fight would be 4 years over one way or another by the time they actually arrived. On the plus side, it doesn't interact with the warp at all. There are 0 chances of warp nonsense happening with this thing. So if the Tau were to be smart about things, here's how I'd organize it. Have your military ships outfitted with the etheric drives or whatever the semi-retconned fourth sphere expansion equivalent is. They need to get where they need to be going fast. Have their colony ships and other less time-pressing matters use the ZRF drive though.
Makes
The planet will
sense.
probably still be there by the time it arrives, so there's no need to put the pedal to the metal to colonize it. Why only use one when both options are perfectly valid for different circumstances? Now here's where the biggest part of a warp drive's quality being relative comes into play. If you asked your average Imperial ship captain, be they Navy, merchant, or rogue trader, to turn off the Gellerfield and broadcast their presence into the warp, you'd be shot on the spot. If you asked the average orc to do these things, they'd also shoot you on the spot for suggesting any such features be turned on, or were there to begin with. In theory, orcs actually do have something resembling Gellerfields, presumably only ever used when a properly important war boss doesn't want his boys dying before the big fight starts. I have found out, by the way, that whenever I'm talking about the orcs, I've started saying boys and fight like that naturally. I'm not even trying to do it. Green really is best, I guess. But back to the topic, their Gellerfield is just them jamming metal plates and other crap resembling teeth onto their ship to scare off the demons. This may work because of their collective orc gestalt field / their belief in it working making it work. It may not work at all, or it may work because demons know the orcs are more excited they showed up than the demons are to eat their souls. Think of it like a robbery. I gotta imagine any would-be thief would be a lot less sure about mugging someone who's smiling ear to ear, armed to the teeth, and covered in plate mail with the words "Born to Kill" written in crayon on their breastplate. For the rest of their warp drive tech, it's the usual orc affair of being anything from stuff they stole from other races to stuff a mech boy cobbled together in a manic frenzy. Orc FDL tech is wildly unsafe for both the inhabitants of the ship as well as anyone in the vicinity. To once again make the comparison, it reminds me of the different levels of slip space travel in Halo. Humanity rips a hole into slip space, the Covenant do it with surgical precision, and the Foreigners had complete mastery. In this analogy, the orcs are bashing open a hole with a sledgehammer and calling unreality a pussy until it either backs down or produces a fight for them, both of which are good outcomes. For literally anyone else in the setting, this is the worst thing possible. Demons are incredibly likely, health and safety would make even the Imperium's, shall we say, lax treatment of its ship's crew look OSHA compliant, and another key thing is that half the time an orc ship isn't even a ship. It's a space hulk they hijacked. In addition to demons, this means they're likely to be crawling with gene stealers as well, and landing on the planet they're heading towards is something closer to an asteroid impact. The ships making up a space hulk are also of varying functionality, meaning the engines or guns of one might suddenly fire and rip the whole thing apart. But consider, viewer, that all of these things are negatives to a species that can be considered sane, and despite what some people may tell you, sanity is not something you can really apply to the orcs as we know it. I'm not saying this as a criticism, they're having a blast. Demons showing up is only a problem if you consider a demonic incursion a traumatic experience, rather than in-flight entertainment, same with gene stealers. Their landings almost always being of the crashing variety means that they don't have to waste time getting to the fight, and starting the fight with an asteroid impact is one hell of an explosive entrance which orcs also appreciate. As for general safety measures, sure it sucks to be the orc who gets thrown into space after a couple of decaying compartments finally give out. Just don't be that particular orc, bro, or have the grots go and fix things. That's what they exist for. Honorable mention to the shock attack gun, which works by opening a portal through the warp, firing a snotling through it, and then opening a second portal near the enemy so the snotling is launched onto whatever it's pointed at. This, in theory, given the warp, could be used as a method of achieving FTL speed, although given the unreliability involved, I think it's safe to say this shouldn't be your chosen method of travel. Orc FTL is in general like the rest of orc garbage, as much as a hazard to the user as it is to their enemies, but too fun to pass up on using. It's also worth mentioning that during the War of the Beast, the orcs had seemingly utilized another method of FTL travel called subspace, utilizing both their Wa field and gravity. Not terribly orky from my understanding, since being its own little realm meant no demons to fight mid-flight, but certainly a more effective method of travel. They would use it to basically teleport an entire attack moon right above a planet, because fuck you, anyone below these things. The Eldar, of course, have to travel across the galaxy, but the circumstances of their fall have made it a bit trickier. In the glory days of the Eldar Empire, nearly anything was possible. They could waltz right through the warp if they wanted, although probably not for long on account of Assyrian's edict dividing the materium and the immaterium. You may notice a lot of Eldar spaceships also have sails on them. In the past, the ancient Eldar sailed through the warp, treating it like even more of an ocean than the rest of the people in 40k do. All of this was of course done away with the birth of Slaanesh. Now the extent of their interaction with the warp is psyker powers and warp spiders jumping in and out of it, something far too short range to truly be called FTL travel. Thankfully, they have an alternative method of FTL travel to call upon, one that in most ways is far superior to what the rest of the factions have access to. The Eldar Webway, perhaps more accurately called the Old Ones Webway, since they built it and the Eldar just sort of set up shop there after they died. While the metaphor isn't perfect, if the warp is the ocean and the materium is above the ocean, the Webway is like a crocodile half submerged into the water. Not quite in the warp, but not quite material. It sits between these two realities. In the days of the War in Heaven, the Eldar were taught by the Old Ones how to navigate the Webway as well as expand upon it, so they do have some claim to it beyond squatters' rights. While the Eldar could also use the warp to travel, the Webway is also very convenient. If you know where you're going, you don't need to plot a course like a sailor charting waters and taking storms into account. You can just go from point A to point B and you're there. Better yet, this is the only mass-scale FTL method in 40k that you can use on foot. The Exodite animation GW put out shows Titans walking out of the Webway, and there's nothing stopping an individual from waltzing in and out of it for funsies. The Webway does have some wacky things about it, of course. It's still magical in nature, so it's hardly normal. Time and distance will still have the at best tenuous relationship with how they're perceived by anyone in the Webway. A year walking through it to reach an exit may turn out to be mere seconds in real space, or vice versa. This, however, is more of a feature than a bug like it tends to be with warp travel, since not only is that how it's an FTL method instead of just a big tunnel, but it's far more predictable here. A given portion of the Webway may act all wonky, but you can usually plan for it. Up and down may be relative, but gravity most likely won't suddenly reverse and you go plummeting into the ceiling. It also keeps you safe from chaos to some extent. Most prominently with the Dark Eldar, of course, since Kamara being within it is how they survived the birth of Slaanesh, but I would say it can be assumed it extends to other corruption as well, if only a little bit. If it didn't shield you from chaos, then why would the Emperor want to barge into it to hide humanity from chaos? The Eldar are the only ones who can utilize it to the fullest extent, of course, but with a map just about anyone can use it. Humanity has used it plenty of times, and the Emperor's whole plan was to take it over for mankind, although I believe it was the end of the death that had Vulcan look at what was left of the Webway project and wonder if it was truly possible to begin with. In my eternal bias in favor of the Eldar, I'd have to say no, it wasn't, but Vulcan also wasn't there working on it, so I'm sure he didn't have all the knowledge needed to make that judgment properly. The Necrons also make use of it through one of their newer bits of lore known as Dolmen Gates. Dolmen Gates are like one-way hackjob wormholes into the Webway. Created by the Catan known as the Burning One, they briefly rip open a hole into the Webway so Necrons could flood into it and then exit through another dolmen gate. This allowed them access, but the limits of it come from the nature of the webway itself. See, the webway is at least partially alive, and tends to not like things that aren't the Eldar or the Old Ones mucking about in it. If some random guardsman enters, they're probably fine, but something like a Chaos Demon is going to be swarmed with the crystalline spider-like guardians of the webway as soon as possible. The webway can seal any holes into it, constrict passages to squeeze invaders out, and even cut them off entirely to avoid contamination. The process is by no means perfect, since after at least 65 million years, anything will start to break down eventually. The webway has decayed far from what it once was, and the Eldar on the whole have lost the knowledge of how to truly maintain and rebuild it. But still, it's alive, and if you have ill will towards the space elves, it'll make its displeasure towards you known, which is why the Necrons have to be careful and use those dolmen gates strategically and quickly. It's also part of the reason our men can never have nice things. The whole thing also vents excess warp energy that may be inside of it into the materium, causing all sorts of problems for anyone who happens to live around one of those vents. Those are hardly the only hazards of the webway to anyone trying to use it, but the rest of them are largely more downsides towards whoever is unlucky enough to trip into them, rather than something the webway can do to you. Traveling the webway, for instance, leaves you open to encountering either the Harlequins or the Dark Eldar. Both of those factions live in the webway, and both of them almost certainly don't want you in it. Or at least they don't want you in it with free reign. The Dark Eldar don't need an explanation as to why they're a hazard. Once a Cabal realizes they don't need to enter real space to gather all the slaves and future arts and craft supplies in the form of your bones that they need, they're going to rush you. The Harlequins, meanwhile, on a whole, are much more conducive to negotiating and working with other races, but that comes with the general caveat that you aren't inside their house. They will kill you stone cold dead if you are, and unlike the rest of the Eldar, they may very well have kept knowledge on how to rebuild and repair it. Kegarek's an Eldar god, and if anyone in the setting has that knowledge to pass on, it's him. And either way, pissing off a god is a bad idea in general. You can also just get lost. It's a giant intergalactic maze. Wandering it blindly is a great way to end up dead. You can wind up in outer space and suffocate, near a sun and burn to death, inside a particularly unpleasant planetary gate and be murdered, or hell, accidentally end up in Kamara. Since it's intergalactic, you might just starve to death looking for a way out. Boring way to go, but entirely possible. Warp incursions are also a frequent hazard, with entire tunnels often being lost to the warp as it breaches into the webway. For all the defenses the webway has, ranging from those inherent to it to those that come from the people living in it, the webway is under siege from the warp at all times. It isn't necessarily a losing battle, but neither are there signs the webway will win out in the end. If the webway falls, the hopes of all the Eldar go with it, so everyone from Craftworlders to Kamarites will fight tooth and nail to keep it safe. In spite of all the dangers, however, it is still without fail the best FTL method in the setting. New passages do naturally form, even if far slower than when they were constructed. It can heal itself, if again slower than the damage is usually inflicted, and if you have the right knowledge, it's faster and more reliable than anything else. It isn't just for safety the Eldar use it, it's because it enables them to strike without warning anywhere in the galaxy. Sure, a webway gate means you can predict where they'll come from, but almost no one who isn't the Eldar knows where a given webway gate is, and no one who isn't Kegarak knows where they all are. At any given moment, an Aspect Warrior force can show up outside your house because what you thought was a telephone tower was actually a webway gate, primed to vomit out angry elves on command. And given both the magical nature of it and the general ignorance of most people about the webway, I imagine you can never be 100% sure you got rid of a given gate, even if you blew it up physically. There are a variety of other FTL methods in the setting, but a lot of them aren't that much to go into. For example, the other Necron FTL method is something that's been semi-retcon, but also not quite, because Battlefleet Gothic kind of undid it. Inertialess drives are a scientific way to breach the light barrier. No warp travel or anything required. No risk of demons, and as long as the engine doesn't crap out on you, no risk of anything, really. This is the kind of thing that makes the webway look like it came out of a used car dealership, which is why I imagine it was largely retconned. However, Battlefleet Gothic does bring them back as an ability for Necron ships. It sure enough basically lets you teleport, but the drawback is that they're fairly limited in range and it takes an ungodly amount of time to recharge. Honestly, it's a nice way of making the older and newer lore connect if they keep using it like that. Inertialess drives are peerless for getting a quick tactical advantage, and in a pinch can be used for long-distance movement, but for more practical large-scale usage, breaching into the webway is the better option. The Tyranids, meanwhile, have a funky little bioship called a Narval. How this thing works specifically is a mystery, let's call it. Liberties with science is one way to put it, but 40k isn't really science fiction, so who cares? But it essentially allows the Tyranids to create gravitational corridors and compress space in a result that sounds far closer to traditional wormholes to allow the Tyranids to achieve FTL speeds. Apparently, it can also massively disrupt the gravity of smaller planets and moons, causing tectonic activity ranging from earthquakes to volcanic eruptions. Solar flares aren't even off the table. Now, logically speaking, this makes zero sense. This thing isn't even a mile long. There's absolutely no way it could create enough gravity to cause a star to erupt into solar flares or a planet's mantle to begin going haywire. But 40k is 40k, so I guess the funny bug ship can just do that. Presumably the Tyranids don't just make a million of these things and destroy everything they fight with gravity waves, because then there'd be nothing left to eat. That and these things are otherwise defenseless, but if you can cause a planet's mantle to go nuclear, then surely you could weaponize that in space. But we probably shouldn't question the logic of Tyranid bioships, or the hive mind in general. After all, I'm pretty sure someone online figured out that nebulae would be the best source of nutrients for the Tyranids rather than people, but they don't chase after space clouds terribly often. Sorcery and psyker powers can also be used to transport yourself across the galaxy, but calling this FTL does feel like stretching things a bit. You're certainly moving across the galaxy at FTL speed, so it does count, but usually you think of hyperdrives and starships with that kind of thing, you know? Nevertheless, it can be done. Some word-bearers teleported onto Macragge via sorcery during the Horus Heresy, and Eldrad himself seemed to come and go as he pleased on the Blueberry homeworld as well during the same book the word-bearers did it. I want to say it was Unremembered Empire this happened in, but off the top of my head I can't remember, which is fitting if nothing else given the title, I suppose. That kind of thing not only requires a substantial amount of power for individuals, but it'll scale massively the more people you want to teleport. It can of course be done. Teleporting with wizardry isn't uncommon in things like D&D, let alone 40k. But if you want to transverse the hellscape of the warp with an army, you better have every precaution possible taken before you do it. And those are just about all the main methods of FTL travel in 40k. Almost all of them are incredibly dangerous, the ones that aren't are incredibly slow, and overall, they all kinda suck. But they suck in that 40k way, where if they didn't suck, they wouldn't be nearly as fun. Thank you as always to my wonderful channel members. You are the FTL to my 40k, sending me forward at breakneck speeds to glory and or doom. If you'd like to support the channel, feel free to subscribe or become a member. Either way, thank you for watching and take care out there. Alright, so I had a Mechanicus moment. The way I mod the game FTL is through some launcher or other, but the problem is I downloaded it and did everything with the launcher like 8 years ago. I don't even remember the name of where I got it from. I no longer remember how it works or where to put files to make new mods appear in the game, and quite frankly, I'm scared to investigate in case I ruin everything. All criticism of the Imperium for getting stuff I've ever had, I'm now revoking. I get it now. I completely understand how things can just get lost.
One-hit KO moves should be some of the strongest in the entire Pokemon franchise. A move that KOs whatever it hits regardless of its stats, ability, or typing, that should be completely broken. But it isn't. Although these moves can pick up surprise KOs when a Pokemon would otherwise be safe, they have a massive drawback. They only hit 30% of the time. Of course, there are ways to increase a Pokemon's accuracy. Moves like Gravity even increase all moves' accuracy on both sides of the field. But these guaranteed KO moves, they're special. They can't have their accuracy boosted by Gravity, or by raising the accuracy stat, or by lowering your opponent's evasion. These moves are stuck hitting only 30% of the time, no matter what you do. At least, that seems to be what Game Freak intended when they designed these super powerful moves. They didn't want there to be a way of increasing their probability of hitting, because if there was, they would obviously be completely broken, since, you know, they KO whatever they hit in one turn. But unfortunately for the big Pikachu, there are hundreds of different abilities and moves in Pokemon. And it turns out, when you put just the right combination together... But wait, why are we even talking about this in the first place? Why would anybody want to build a team around these one-hit KO moves anyway? Well, that's because of Dua Lipa. Now, I like Dua Lipa. I think she's a really talented artist and I like her music. I also live in Washington, DC. So when I saw this tweet that Dua Lipa was here in my city, I thought that I'd respond. Now, for those of you who aren't fully caught up, Dua Lipa is an internationally famous global pop superstar sensation, and I am an unusually hairy adult man who is concerningly good at a video game. So if I can be honest, I didn't really expect her to see my response. But I also didn't expect that posting this innocent zeet would summon an oracle. There in my replies was somebody who seemingly possessed the gift of prophecy, and they graced me with an omen. Bro is more likely to hit a sheer cold than make this shot. Immediately, I knew what I had to do. In order to fulfill the prophecy, I needed to find a way of making sheer cold 100% accurate, thus maximizing my odds. But how? Sheer cold's accuracy can't be increased. It's stuck at 30% no matter what I do. I can't increase it with any of the normal methods. But there is a single ability in the entire franchise that causes accuracy and evasion to start to behave a little bit weird. This ability, called No Guard, doesn't increase a Pokemon's accuracy or lower a foe's evasion stat. Instead, it causes all moves used by the user, as well as all moves targeting the user, to hit regardless of their accuracy. In other words, this ability disables the accuracy stat altogether. So, if a Pokemon with this ability uses Sheer Cold, it becomes a one-hit KO move that always lands. But now we're hitting the first roadblock. No Pokemon with the ability No Guard learns any one-hit KO moves. But we have a way around this. One of my favorite moves of all time is called Skill Swap, a move that switches the ability of the user and the ability of the target. In a double battle, you can use this move on your own partner. I used Skill Swap to get second at the World Championships in 2012 by giving my Heatran Cresselia's Levitate ability, turning its quadruple weakness into an immunity. And we can use it here to give a Pokemon with Sheer Cold No Guard. None of the No Guard Pokemon can learn Skill Swap, so all we need is a Pokemon who learns both a one-hit KO move and Skill Swap. And the Pokemon that learns both is nothing. Well, okay, technically Smeargle learns both, but I'm not going to use Smeargle because number one, I hate it, and number two, it's way too frail to pull this strategy off. I guess I can't do it. It can't be done. I can't make Sheer Cold 100% accurate. I'm sorry, Dua. You deserve so much better. Unless... Okay, so there's no Pokemon that can learn both a one-hit KO move and the move Skill Swap. And there's also no Guard Pokemon that learns Skill Swap either. But what if I added a third link to the chain? What if another Pokemon Skill Swapped No Guard onto itself and then Skill Swapped it to the one-hit KO Pokemon the next turn? That would technically work, I think. To be clear, this is very, very stupid. This requires multiple turns of setup and 3 of your own Pokemon before you can even threaten anything. If you lose a piece of the puzzle before it's done its job, you lose the game on the spot with no way back in. This is a stupid strategy and it should never work in practice, let alone during a tournament. So anyway, I started building. Yes, this is probably the most out there team that I've attempted to build in years, and yes, getting a single win with it would be probably miraculous, but I received a call to adventure and I am not going to turn away. I don't care if I need to use every ounce of team building muscle that I've built over the last 14 years to do it. I will craft this team from unyielding stone if I have to. The place to start with a team like this is the one-hit KO move user. Now, there are technically 4 different moves that always result in a KO if they hit: Guillotine, Horn Drill, Fissure, and Sheer Cold. But the Prophet specifically mentioned Sheer Cold, so that's the one I'm going to use. And when it comes to Sheer Cold users, there's one that's better than all the rest: Lapras. I'm looking for the bulkiest Sheer Cold user I can find, because all that matters is the Pokemon sticking around for as long as possible, since every attack I get to use is another KO. In the current rule set for the official competitive format, only 6 fully evolved Pokemon learn Sheer Cold, and Lapras is by far the tankiest. Of course, Sheer Cold does have a weakness. It doesn't work against opposing Ice-type Pokemon, even with no guard. So I need to find some way for Lapras to beat Ice types. Thankfully, Lapras learns my all-time favorite move, Perish Song. This move causes all Pokemon that hear the song to faint in 3 turns unless they switch out. Of course, if Sheer Cold has KO'd all the Ice-type Pokemon's partners, the pesky Ice types that I wasn't able to hit won't be able to switch out. With Sheer Cold and Perish Song, Lapras should be able to KO every Pokemon in the game, regardless of their bulk or typing. I round out Lapras' moveset with Substitute and Protect to make it harder to get rid of, and give it the Leftovers item for some healing. I select Ghost as my Terra type here to make Lapras immune to Fake Out, which could otherwise stop Sheer Cold for a turn by making Lapras flinch. With my one-hit KO user secured, I now need my No Guard Pokemon. The good news is that there's a No Guard user who is a really good Pokemon, Machamp. It can do big damage, and it learns some really useful supporting moves. But the bad news is that Machamp isn't in the game. In fact, the only No Guard users in Scarlet and Violet are Lycanroc, Midnight, and Golurk. 2 Pokemon that are so bad, they have never seen any competitive play before. But if I'm going to pull this off, these are literally my only options, so it's no use complaining. After looking through the moves that both these Pokemon learn extensively, I eventually settle on Golurk. It's got more useful support moves, and its typing is better than Lycanroc since it has 3 immunities to fighting, normal, and electric, making it slightly easier to switch in. It also learns the move Dynamic Punch, which always confuses the target, and frankly, I'm going to need all the help I can get if I'm going to pull this off. I can use Terra Fighting to boost Dynamic Punch's damage to KO threatening Pokemon like Kingambit, Tyranitar, and Terra Steel Goldengo, giving Golurk at least a little bit of offense. Of course, Golurk is mainly here to support the team, so I give it the move Reflect, which reduces all physical damage dealt by 1/3, and the item Light Clay, which causes Reflect to last for 8 turns instead of 5. I'd have loved to teach Golurk Light Screen, which is the special counterpart of Reflect, but it doesn't learn it. So instead, I give it Curse. This move deals half of Golurk's health, but causes whatever Pokemon is hit by Curse to lose a quarter of their health until they either switch out or faint. Curse has been used a little bit in competitive Pokemon before to stop big setup Pokemon like Xerneas and Dondozo, but I'm using it here because I actually want Golurk to faint most of the time once I've stolen No Guard so that I can bring in Lapras without needing to manually switch out. The final piece of the core is the skill swap user. Initially, I was looking at Stantler, who is surprisingly tanky with the Eviolite item, but Stantler, it's not slow enough. Instead, I decide to bring back an old favorite Pokemon of mine, Bronzong. Bronzong is a very tanky defensive Pokemon with a Steel and Psychic typing. Steel is the best defensive type in the game, giving Bronzong tons of resistances, and the Levitate ability makes Bronzong immune to all ground type moves. And crucially, Bronzong is really slow. Now, normally being slow is a bad thing in competitive play since you want your Pokemon to attack before your opponents. But there's a move that reverses the speed order and causes all slow Pokemon to move before fast ones. Trick Room. Since both Lapras and Golurk are pretty slow Pokemon, I know that if this strategy is going to work, it has to be inside Trick Room. Bronzong can reverse the speed order with Trick Room and then use Skill Swap to steal No Guard and pass it to Lapras. But it can also make use of No Guard itself with the move Hypnosis. Hypnosis puts whatever it hits to sleep, causing them to be unable to move for 1 to 3 turns, with the downside of it being only 60% accurate. Of course, with No Guard, the accuracy issue becomes just a little bit less noticeable. I round out Bronzong's moveset with Protect. Because it's the Pokemon that is needed for the entirety of the setup, I want a way to keep it safe. Terra Dark turns Bronzong's Ghost and Dark weaknesses into resistances, and Mental Herb makes it so that a single taunt doesn't stop the entire strategy. Since all of Bronzong's moves don't do any damage, Taunt would otherwise force Bronzong to struggle. At this point, the core is complete, and has many issues. This strategy is precarious to begin with, but there's some major weaknesses as well, most notably Amoonguss. Amoonguss is slower than all of my Pokemon, so Trick Room actually makes it the fastest Pokemon in play, and it can put my Pokemon to sleep with Spore. It can also redirect my skill swap using the move Rage Powder, which causes all moves to target the user, potentially stealing No Guard and breaking the precarious chain that I've been building. There's also Kingambit, one of the strongest Pokemon introduced in Scarlet and Violet. This is one of the most used Pokemon at present because it's incredibly tanky and hits ridiculously hard. The main set at the moment is Swords Dance with 2 dark moves, turning Kingambit into a Pokemon that's nearly impossible to get rid of while outputting huge damage. Normally, the way that you'd stop a Pokemon like this is to hit it for a ton of damage while it sets up, but I can't do that because I can't really do anything until I've done 3 turns of setup first. These 2 Pokemon are such major issues that honestly, I'm ready to give up. No matter what I consider, I just can't see a way for my team to get around them. And they're so popular. I can't just hope that I don't play against any. I'm scrolling through the entire Pokedex again and again when finally I see something. A Pokemon that might be just what I need. Clefable. Clefable is a pure fairy type Pokemon with some unique properties. As a fairy type, it resists dark, meaning those Swords Dance Kingambit won't be able to damage it easily. Of course, they could just use Swords Dance to basically ignore the resistance, except against Clefable specifically, that won't work, because Clefable has the ability Unaware, which ignores all of the opponent's stat changes. No matter how many times Kingambit uses Swords Dance, against Clefable, it's as if it's still unboosted. Now, normally Kingambit could just ignore Clefable and target down its partner, but Clefable learns the move Follow Me, which is a better version of Rage Powder and forces your opponent to target the user. In other words, Clefable can turn one of the scariest offensive Pokemon into a non-issue. But what about Amoonguss? Well, Clefable can hold the Safety Goggles item, making it immune to both Spore and Rage Powder. And with Follow Me, Clefable can protect the rest of my team from Spore as well. But if you've been paying close attention, you might have realized that Clefable redirecting Spore won't help with Rage Powder stealing No Guard before I can get it onto Lapras. And that's why Clefable also knows the move Skill Swap, so that against an opponent relying on Amoonguss, I can use Clefable to pass No Guard to Lapras, completely bypassing the Mushroom. I finished Clefable's moveset off with Protect and Moonblast, which are the two most consistent options, and give it a Terra type of Water to resist the Steel moves of Goldango and the Water moves of Rain-based teams. The Sheer Cold mode is now complete. But I have a problem. I'm bringing this team to a tournament, and to win a round of this tournament, you need to win 2 games out of 3. Pulling off No Guard Sheer Cold is going to be very difficult, even a single time. Doing it twice against the same opponent seems like a real uphill battle. So I think I want an alternate mode that I can use as a mix-up. But with 4 of my Pokemon already decided, how am I going to fit a whole nother mode in? I need to make use of the Pokemon already on the team, and I already have Perish Song on Lapras. So I'm going to add a little homage to my favorite strategy, Perish Trap. This strategy combines the move Perish Song, which causes all Pokemon that hear the song to faint unless they switch, with the ability Shadow Tag, which prevents foes from switching. The strategy doesn't work against Ghost types, Pokemon that can switch out manually, or Goldango, and it also doesn't work if the Shadow Tag user goes down, but I think it's still worth trying here. The only Shadow Tag user currently legal in the format is Gothitelle, a pure Psychic type Pokemon. Gothitelle learns Fake Out, which prevents an opponent from moving for a single turn, which is quite valuable for a strategy that just has to survive for 3 turns. It can also heal its partners with Heal Pulse, restoring their health by 50%. Protect is the best move on any Perish Trap team, and Psychic allows Gothitelle to hit frail Pokemon for good damage, such as the Sneasler, who is one of the most popular Pokemon right now. The item Citrus Berry helps keep Gothitelle alive by restoring a quarter of its health, and Terra Water is useful against Fire, Water, and Steel type moves, which are all mainstays in competitive play. With just 1 Pokemon left, I add the best Pokemon of all time, Incineroar. I don't like Incineroar, but it provides extremely valuable support with Fake Out, and Intimidate lowers my opponent's damage output. And Incineroar works with both of the modes that I have on this team. Unlike my normal defensive Incineroar, this time I decide to use a very fast and very strong Incineroar to allow me to have a faster Fake Out than my opponent, and to let Incineroar knock out opposing Goldango in a single hit. And since Goldango is really strong against both modes of the team, this feels pretty valuable. Because I've spent so many of my stat points in my speed and offense, this Incineroar is a bit frailer than the ones that I'm used to. So I give it the Assault Vest item to increase its special bulk by 50%. This does mean I need to use U-Turn, the damaging move, instead of Parting Shot, the support move, but I think that's a small price to pay for so much more bulk. One weird thing about this Incineroar is that it has the move Throat Chop instead of the more standard knockoff. The reason for this is that Throat Chop prevents whatever it hits from using sound-based moves. And this is useful because other Incineroar will all have the move Parting Shot, which would allow them to switch out of Shadow Tag. If I hit them with Throat Chop though, they'll continue to be stuck on the field until it's too late. I give Incineroar a Terra type of Grass to help with my Amoonguss weakness, and with that, the team is complete. If you want to try this team for yourself, you can do so using the rental code on screen here. If you're interested in the full breakdown of the team, that's up on Patreon. I post all of my tournament teams there weeks and sometimes months before the videos go live on the channel. I also post 3 extra videos a month there, including reactions to high-level matches and breakdowns of the current format, as well as videos talking about things like did you lose because of your team or your play, and Wolf's Guide to Synergy. If any of that sounds interesting to you, check it out. I show my friends this team, to which they express real genuine concern, and then find the biggest online tournament I can to enter. This tournament has over 160 players, which means the first phase is 8 rounds. I need to win 6 of them if I want to make it into the final bracket, but honestly, with this team, I would consider winning 4 a big success. Now, normally at this point in the video, I would ask you to subscribe, but this time I've come to bargain. I feel strongly that the content on my channel is different than anything you can get anywhere else on YouTube. So I'd like to propose a deal. I think that at some point during this video, you are going to see something that completely blows your mind. Something that you've never seen before, something that maybe you've never even considered. I don't even have like one specific thing in mind here. It's just that this tournament, like so many ridiculous, crazy things happen that I'm sure that everybody who watches it at some point will wind up shocked. If that happens to you, then I'd ask you to subscribe. And if not, no worries. So with all that being said, it's time for the tournament. I boot up my Switch and hop online to see just what this monstrosity of a team can do. And Dua Lipa, if you are watching this, I'm really sorry. I've been kind of bored lately. I've been on a break from competing, and finding something to fill the time has been a lot harder than I expected. I just wish something special would happen to me, like, I don't know, meeting a dragon or something. Wait, oh my god, is that Alpine Dragon from Dragon City, the sponsor of this video? In Dragon City, there's over 1,000 dragons to collect, hatch, and evolve. I really like the guy I met earlier, Alpine Dragon. He just seems like a chill dude. I've been battling against other players and tearing up the leaderboards. Turns out the world champ difference is cross game. I've also really been enjoying customizing my city with all sorts of magical decorations. I feel like the king of my own little fantasy world. My boredom is cured, my eggs are hatching, and my dragons are thriving. Or whatever it is you kids say nowadays. My dragons are Sigma? Skibbity toilet? Riz? Anyway, you too can be thriving by clicking the link in the description or scanning the QR code to download Dragon City. You'll even get a special starter bundle with 15,000 food, 30,000 gold, and the very rare Black Metal Dragon. He's so cool. I use a lot of fun teams on my channels. Do not try this at home. It will not work for you. It probably won't work for me either. Do not try this at home. I'm serious. I think I'm going to lead off with Bronzong here. Now, normally the lead is Bronzong Clefable, but I actually don't care so much about redirection here, so I think I'm going to bring in Cineroar, who's someone who's very kindly named Dania. It's either Incineroar or Clefable. Clefable would allow me to redirect Population Bomb. In a game 1 scenario, I don't know if they're going to lead with the thing that I'm the most scared of. So, you know what? Let's give this a shot. I'm going to try and catch them off guard with this. Electro Shot and Flash Cannon. I got to watch out for Arcalodon. Kinda. I kind of have to watch out for Arcalodon. I don't know if Parting Shot. Teleporter or Arcalodon are the leads. Okay, cool. Cool. So we're gonna give them, they get Drizzle up. I could fake out either Pokemon here. Oh! Okay, good start. Okay, Protect from Pelipper. Here's the fake out into the Arcalodon. It's gonna give them a stamina boost, which is okay. It's okay, that's fine. We get Trick Room up for free. Okay, this is a good start. This is a really good start. Okay, this requires some setup. Here we go. Okay, so we have now Hypnosis Threat active. However, what we want to do is go for Skill Swap and bring in Golurk. Let's get No Guard onto Bronzong. This will make Hypnosis 100% accurate. Here we go. Bronzong should make it through the turn. Here's Skill Swap. So now let's keep track of the abilities. Currently, Golurk has Levitate, and Bronzong now has No Guard. Here's Weather Ball. Oh, this cool. Die. Please, die. That's so good. Here we go. Golurk is down. We've lost a Pokemon. However, this is actually quite good. Here's Electro Shot. Arcalodon getting a special attack boost. However, that's not the end of the world here because Arcalodon cannot protect itself. So we have 3 turns left of Trick Room. Golurk has gone down. Yes, Arcalodon gets a special attack boost. However, Bronzong was chosen because it is so incredibly bulky. Even a +1 special attack from that actually did more than I thought it was going to do. Bronzong still tanks it. It probably would have taken a Weather Ball there as well. Now Lapras is on the field inside Trick Room, and Bronzong has No Guard and Skill Swap. So if Bronzong uses Skill Swap, it's not PV maxed. I gotta fix that. If Bronzong uses Skill Swap on Lapras, Lapras will now have the ability No Guard. And No Guard means your moves can never miss, including moves that can KO a Pokemon regardless of its health. So, Sheer Cold comes out and will always connect. Arcalodon goes down in a single hit. Ah, boy, here's Hurricane. That's not funny. Please don't confuse. That could be a problem. Crit me. Don't confuse. Okay, it's fine. Sinistra. That's okay. I can deal with Sinistra. Here's my terrestrialization. I don't want my Lapras to go down to Matcha Gotcha here, which is a grass type move. So instead what I'm going to do is Terra goes to my Lapras. Here we go. Now I'm no longer weak to Sinistra. Okay. And let's, Sinistra has this great ability. Why don't we borrow it? Here's Rage Powder. That's fine. We were targeting Sinistra anyway. Here we go. Here's Skill Swap. So I'm going to give Sinistra Water Absorb here, which is fine. I don't want to use a water move here. Here's Water Absorb. Here's Hospitality. And Hospitality, I don't know this for sure, but it should reactivate now that Bronzong has it. Let's see here. Here's Hospitality. Somebody borrowing Sinistra's ability to heal Lapras up as Lapras connects another Sheer Cold. Here we go. See ya, Sinistra. Thanks for playing. Hurricane comes out into Lapras, but I've healed so much health. Yeah, as long as it doesn't confuse, we're fine. Yep, that's actually, we're in really good shape now. How many turns of Trick Room are left? 2? 1? Sneasler. Okay. A bit spooky, no? So, here's Incineroar. This game is still not over. I actually could still lose. If I lose Lapras this turn, it's totally possible that I could lose this, I think. We want to see it protect. We're in good shape. Yeah, we should be okay. Okay, here we go. Paris song comes out, and so any Pokemon that hear the song will faint in 3 turns. We don't even need to take all the KOs with Sheer Cold. Here's Hurricane. As long as I don't get confused here. Actually, even with confusion, I'm okay. Okay, rain's over. This, yeah, now this has become, I think, quite difficult for them to win is my prediction. Yeah, in 3 turns, this battle's over anyway. So we just have to survive for 3 more turns, and then the game becomes ours. So let's go for, that's the end of Trick Room, but it's fine. We did what we needed to do. We've got, now keep in mind, this tournament is all best 2 out of 3. So even winning one game with this, it probably won't be so easy the second game. And even it's not over yet. Here's the Terra. This is either Dark Terra for the damage, or it's Ghost Terra to make them immune to Fake Out. Either one is okay. I've covered for both options here. It is Dark Terra. They're going to try and go for Throat Chop here, which is why I went for Fake Out. This is Focus Sash Sneasler. Yeah, like it's fine. What we have to worry about here is like Hurricane confusion, basically. Here's Fake Out, stopping the Sneasler from moving. Want to make sure Lapras makes it through this turn. As long as I don't lose Lapras this turn. Let's see. We connect Hurricane without the rain. Okay. No confusion. Yep, that's the end of that. Yeah, this game is now guaranteed to be over.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Lapras has hit 3 Sheer Colds. Oh, wait. Hurricane can't miss. I have no guard. Okay, GG. All right, so we won game 1. However, there are legitimate counters to, like, there are legitimate threats on the opponent's side that can mess up a lot of my, like, core strategy here. So I do need to watch out for that, unfortunately. Okay, that's the worst case scenario, I think. I also have Sinistra. Okay, Sinistra switches out. Okay, let's see who this is. Instant. Okay, cool. I mean, not cool, but not awful either. Getting the Intimidate second is actually pretty nice here. Because Mousehold actually, it doesn't have any damage output. Yes. Oh, it has Population Bomb, but it's Friend Guard and it's Safety Goggles. So it's not very strong. Here's my Incineroar. They might protect. They might also taunt. Here's Taunt into Instant. I'm Assault Vest. It doesn't matter. That is totally fine. It is Ghost Terra Instant. Yeah, I gotta get rid of this mouse. See how much this does. Should be like 30. Yeah, about 30. Maybe a little more, actually. This is Ghost Terra on both Mons. Okay, Protect from Mousehold. That makes sense, in my opinion. Fake Out. This looks like a dead turn, but it's actually pretty good for me, I think, because... Okay, we've confirmed that their Incineroar is slower than my Gothitelle, which is interesting. That's actually very good to know. Nope, they're faster. Just wasn't paying attention. Here's Protect. Population Bomb comes out into Gothitelle. Okay. Every KO we take matters a lot, but getting rid of this Mousehold is really important because the eventual goal of this game... Oh, I got the KO! Oh, right, I'm strong. My Incineroar is strong. I forgot. Wait, that's huge. Now that Mousehold's gone, now that Mousehold is gone, what am I saying? I forget. Now I can Parasong because Taunt is off the table. There's no more Taunt. Okay, Sneasler's the last Pokemon. Okay. Grand Clef. The reason that I'm doing this is that I'm worried about the Dark Terra on Sneasler. Otherwise, I would actually consider just going for Psychic here. But because they could Dark Terra to stop a big attack, I'm doing this instead. Here's Lapras. Here's the Terra. Now that the Terra's out, this means that I have ways of stopping Instant from switching out, which is good. Here's Dark Terra. Oh, this could be Throat Chop, actually. I didn't consider that. I also could I could try and go for Moonblast here, actually, if I wanted, and try and get Sneasler that way. I wasn't gonna do it, but I could. Here's Close Combat. Nice. Good switch from me. The threat there was that Lapras was gonna take either a Dire Claw or a Close Combat. Let's see what they do with Instant. Parting Shot. Oh, interesting. Okay, hang on a second. Then, how do I want to play this? I can go for like Matcha Gotcha, which is spooky. Yeah. I should have probably Terra'd Lapras here, actually, because I don't want to take full power Matcha Gotcha. Oh, Life Dude. Okay, it's fine. Yeah, Lapras being a full HP means that makes this a lot easier. So here's the deal. I sacrifice Clefable, which looks silly. However, this lets him get Perish Song up and in the same turn bring in Gothitelle. So Sinistcha is a ghost type. It can switch out of Shadow Tag. However, Sneasler is not a ghost type. Sneasler is a dark type Pokemon at the moment. And that means that it cannot switch out of Shadow Tag. And what that means is that I get to go into Gothitelle here and go for Fake Out into Sneasler, who can no longer switch out with the Perish counter now being active. So I could bring it back. And then, yeah, maybe I should Terra it. It might have been better to Terra at that turn. I think that was probably a slight mistake. Yeah. So here we go. Inson's back on the field. 3 turns of Perish Trap currently left. Here's Fake Out into Sneasler. It won't be able to move this turn. There's also Break the Focus Dash, which doesn't really matter. Here's Life Dew again. They're trying to keep Sneasler healthy. However, it's not that useful in my opinion. So the real threat is that this turn they could go for... I should have Terra'd. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm okay, but... Oh, that did a lot. Oh, they had Scald. I wasn't even thinking. It did a lot, huh? Why did that do so much? Okay. It didn't do that much in the grand scheme of things. Thanks to Heal Pulse. Okay, so... 1, 1, and... Oh, Gothitell's not under Perish Trap. Then I didn't mess up. Okay, then I'm fine. Hang on a second. Did they stay in with Sinistcha? Because that would be... There's no reason for them to stay in here. They could switch for no cost. Let's see. Okay, yeah, they switched. Okay, so Sinistcha's slower than Incineroar. That's good to know. It also has the Rocky Helmet, which is also good to know. So, as long as Lapras does not get crit here, I should win this game near guaranteed. I should probably win this game. Oh, it doesn't even have Matcha Gotcha. Okay, Dire Claw. Okay, I was going to Terra, but I guess I can go to... Bruh. Just had to say something, didn't I? That's fine. It's not ideal, but it's fine. I should still win. That's fine. Okay. So I've used the Perish Song to KO Sneasler. It took a couple turns, but we got there. Thanks for the dono, Axtro. My favorite Mega is Mega Gengar. Okay, so it's a 2 versus 3. I should have the advantage here, especially with all my healing. So all I need to do is wait until my Lapras wakes up, hit Perish Song once, and then I should win the game. Especially with Sinistcha's only attacking move is Scald. Incineroar's back on the field. We just need to keep Lapras alive for a couple turns. Here's Life Dew. Yeah, they don't really have anything better to do. I guess they could Scald. They should be Scalding for sure, but I understand why they're not. Here's Knockoff into Lapras. It's the right play. It did a lot, actually. Who should I Terra here? Gothitelle or Incineroar? Maybe Gothitelle. Fake Out. Life Dew. Okay, yeah, they're not going for Scald. I think they're afraid that I'm going to attack their Sinistcha with Incin, which I get, but I'm not doing that. Yeah, there's Flinch, and then let's see if I wake up. 2 turns of sleep. That's fine. Again, 1 wake up wins this game, and that's all we need. So let's go for U-turn here. Rage Powder comes out. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I'm not attacking with it anyway, with Incin really anyway. Here's my U-turn. And even if I stay asleep this turn, I have guaranteed wake up next turn. So I'm in good shape, truly. A little Rocky. That Rocky Helmet chip actually did a lot, more than I expected. Here's Gothitelle. What do they go for? Here's Flare Blitz. Okay, that was the right move. With a critical hit, it might have KO'd, actually. I could have lost this. Okay, 3 turns of sleep. The maximum sleep turns. 3. Yeah, this game is now guaranteed over. There is no move that my opponent can make that if I play optimally, my opponent can win. This is the beauty of Perish Song, in my opinion, is that when you have 3 Pokemon left, Perish counter set up, and both Pokemon are able to protect, it does not matter what your opponent does. You have a guaranteed win condition. There's nothing they can do. This game is officially, well, not officially in the sense that the game doesn't know that it's over, but I, as the player, know that this game has ended. 2 turns of Perish Song left. In 2 turns, this battle will be over one way or another. No amount of healing from Sinistcha, Redirection, Intimidate, Flare Blitz, Knockoff. It doesn't matter. None of it matters at all. In the end, the only thing that matters is the counter, and the counter is ticking down. Good offensive moves coming out here from the opponent. It's smart play. It would do a lot to Gothitelle. However, it doesn't matter. The Perish counter continues to drop. Let's land a Sheer Cold. Let's go for a raw Sheer Cold. Oh, yeah, they forfeit. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the game was over. There was no more way for them to win at that point. So that's the way that it works. That's the way it's supposed to work. Okay, I think that we have tools here. Truthfully, I really truly do believe that we have tools in this matchup. Sneasler's Psychic Seed and Burden, Terra Grass, Razor Claw, Decidueye. So Decidueye can crit. Is the problem. Let's try 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think. I don't think we're gonna have any super good matchups in this tournament, but I think that we have tools here, which is all we can really ask for. And they don't have any raw, like, true ghost types. Okay, Indeedee, Primarina are the lead. Interesting. I have Lapras and Incineroar the anxious. So the Indeedee is Safety Goggles, Expanding Force, Terra Blast, Trick Room, and Imprison. Here's the Terra. This is probably Fire Terra to prevent the Indeedee from going down in a single hit, which is okay. And this is probably, should still be Expanding Force, right? Expanding Force, yeah, they want Lapras gone, which makes sense. Lapras is the biggest threat here. That crit is actually really bad. That's actually quite bad. Okay, U-turn comes out. I crit as well. That one doesn't matter. So we got Perish Song. Well, we don't have Perish Song up yet. Sorry. Yeah, the crit is really bad. Water Pledge. Okay, into instant. There's a lot of damage. Oh, they're Life Orb? Oh, I definitely didn't see that. Okay, that's fine. It's all right. How strong is Water Pledge? Hang on, maybe it's stronger than I thought. Maybe okay. Let me double check that my Gothitelle is Expanding Force. Oh, I can check the speed tiers. Hold on, I'm so foolish. I can check the speed tiers with Perish Song. Let me pay attention here. I think they just really high roll. I think they might either they max rolled the Water Pledge, or my Gothitelle is missing EVs, both of which are bad. Here's a fun fact. The Perish counter decreases in speed order. So first we'll see Indeedee. Question is, who's next? Is it Gothitelle or is it Primarina? Primarina is faster than my Lapras. Okay, so if Gothitelle goes down here, we're probably gonna lose, which is okay. It just sucks. Yeah, Expanding Force. We need this to do not that much. Okay, that's good. That should be fine then. Because yeah, maximum damage from Moonblast is, according to my calculations, 99 damage, and we have 114. So there's Moonblast into Goth, as long as it doesn't crit. Okay, that's fine. Here's Heal Pulse. So Clefable's back to full HP. So basically, I'll have taken 2 KOs here, and all I've given up is, yeah, 1-1-1. Okay. Like, we don't need it for anything else, and it's better to have a Pokemon with low HP go down here rather than a Pokemon that's still healthy and can do like something. Like Gothitelle can do Fake Out, but like we need Lapras to win this game basically. And Goth, thank you for your service. Gothitelle did a great job here. Took the attacks it needed to, and basically we traded it 1 for 2, which is really good. Hyper Voice comes out. Okay, so this game is not over because depending on what's in the back, we could still be in some trouble. I imagine one of the Pokemon is the Sneasler, right? Could be like Sneasler Sylveon. We just need to make it through this turn with... this is kind of tricky. Okay, here's... Oh, and Sneasler is Acrobatics, actually. Clefable just protected. Sylveon comes out. I'm expecting Sneasler Sylveon. Meowscarada, actually. Okay. So, all right. This is the last turn of Psychic Terrain. If both Pokemon make it through the turn, then I win. If only Lapras makes it through the turn, then I think I win. And if neither Pokemon makes it through the turn, I probably lose. Here's Follow Me, protecting Lapras from either Knockoff or more realistically Flower Trick, which always crits. There's Knockoff. Yep. They probably felt like they needed to cover for like they needed to get a read rate to win. Okay, yeah, even with the crit on Lapras, I should still survive that. So there's Perish Song. And like I said, this actually ends the game immediately. At this point, there's no longer a way for them to win. As far as I'm aware, yeah, no, there's no longer a way for them to win. So even with the Focus Sash, they're still in trouble. Let's check here. Sylveon is faster than Clefable. How fast is my Clefable again? Okay, that's obvious. It's naturally faster. Okay, cool. Psychic Terrain is gone. Now at this point, what I would like to do is actually use the remaining turns to figure out if Sylveon is faster than Incineroar, because that actually ends up being really important, I think. Flower Trick. I can save one of my Pokemon. I feel like I should save... I'm going to save Lapras because it doesn't really matter. However, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just arbitrary. But Lapras is kind of the start of the show, so I'm going to save it. That's my reasoning. Okay. I can Fake Out Sylveon, yes. However, what I want to know is who's faster between Incineroar and Sylveon, because that could be a big deal for future games. There's Flower Trick. Oh, Incineroar will be faster. I forgot how fast I made this thing. Yeah, Incineroar is definitely faster. There's Hyper Voice. I did a lot. That's Assault Vest. I guess it is Spec Sylveon. Okay. There's Perish counter of 1 on 2 of their Pokemon. And what that means is that Lapras can protect and win the game. Okay. That's fine. Okay. So this is a case where sometimes even the battle is over, like you still want to keep playing because now I know for a fact that my Incineroar is faster than their Sylveon, which I suspected anyway based on how I've trained it, but it's still good to know for sure. And there is a reason why that's going to be there's a reason why that could be relevant. It might not come up though. And now, even though Lapras is on the field against 2 Pokemon that both outspeed and KO it, it doesn't matter is the thing, because as you will see here, the perish counter falls to 0. And that means it's the end of both of the remaining Pokemon. And so even though Lapras didn't really use any damaging moves here, I don't know if I connected one U-turn. That's the only thing I did to do damage. I kind of expect them to lead with Meowscarada. Is that foolish of me, or is it quite wise in actuality? This really doesn't make much sense against the Meowscarada Indeedee stuff, but it's so funny if it works. Give it a shot. Indeedee. Okay. Indeedee in the lead is also pretty bad, truthfully. It's Terra Fire Decky Dewey. Indeedee goes first. I can't intimidate this thing, which is a pain. So, I mean, only one of these Pokemon can Terrasilize, right? Okay, we would love if this were Indeedee. If it's Decidueye, we're in trouble. Okay, all right, hang on. Let's see what they go for here. Could be Imprison. It could be Terra Blast. Either one. Let's see here. There's Imprison. Okay, so I can't use Trick Room. However, I didn't go for Trick Room. Instead, I just went for Hypnosis. See what happens next. They're max speed. That's crazy. And they got the crit. Oh, no. Yeah, okay. Well... okay, that's not what I was expecting. That is quite unfortunate. And I missed Hypnosis. Okay, well, that went just about as badly as possible, if I can be honest. I think I just lose now, actually. They're probably just going to over Terra Blast, Triple Arrows into Bronzong, which is somewhat safe. Okay, yeah, Expanding Force also makes sense. I mean, I could... The thing is, I'm never truly out, because I could just start hitting Sheer Colds, which would be funny. Okay. If I hit this Hypnosis, we're back in it. We're actually back in it if I hit this Hypnosis. We're not in it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Imprison Indeedee is kind of good into my comp. No. Sorry, Golurk. I really did try to save you, if you can believe it. Okay, we're back in it. Hang on. We are in this one, baby. I just need to hit 2 Sheer Colds. That's it. If I hit 2 Sheer Colds, I win the game. That's literally the win condition. Okay. Fine, it's fine. I have unlimited health. Okay, if I hit both moves, I'm chilling. Okay, it's 1 turn of sleep. I can still win this. I just need a couple Sheer Colds. Okay, I need more Sheer Colds than that. Okay. I'm in trouble. I have nothing for Bronzong to do anymore. It's out of stuff to do. I just need a couple Sheer Colds. That's a couple. Come on, Lapras! Decidueye stay asleep? Okay, and then Sheer Cold connect. Come on. Now! I wanted to connect. Okay, this one for sure. They're gonna get the 3-turn sleep. I'm gonna hit. Okay, 2-turn sleep. Stay asleep. If it wakes up, it's over. Bruh. Okay. If it hits here, there's a tiny chance. Shoot. Oh. So doomed. It's unbelievably doomed. Okay, protect. All right. Wakes up. Okay. Triple arrows. Oh no. No. They crit me. My defense. Okay. All right. This is why you need no guard. I think I no longer have a chance to win this. Hang in there, Lapras. You live this, right? Hopium. Oh, you do live this. Hopium. I got crit every turn. Knock it. Okay. Okay, they have the same leads again. I have different leads this time. So now they're trapped on the field, which is really nice. The problem is that this Decidueye could crit me. It has 50% crit rate with its stupid Razor Claw, unfortunately, which is quite threatening. I can't intimidate it either. There's the Terra. That's what I thought was going to happen. Okay, so I guess they're just faster. They've been faster twice now. So this means that if Incineroar makes it through the turn, it is only 50% chance to crit. If it doesn't crit, then I'm in great shape. If it doesn't crit, I actually gain a ton of ground here. They could also Terra Blast me. They could go for like Terra Blast Leaf Blade. If I lose Gothitelle here, I am in pretty big trouble. I guess I don't know how much crit Leaf Blade does, but I assume because this thing seems to be really fast. I should take the Simulwell though. Maybe I shouldn't have Terra'd in hindsight. Come on, Instant. Hang in there. Woo! Woo! Okay, let's go. Okay, instant survive. That's a huge survival. Absolutely massive. The end of DD. Doobie. I think I'm gonna lose this actually. I think I've made errors now that I look at it again. Because yeah, by using the Terra there, I don't do enough damage either. Yeah, with Meowscarada, I think I actually didn't macro this well enough because now Meowscarada comes in and I'm kind of just in trouble regardless, right? Because I keep critting. Oh, Sylveon actually. Hang on. If Sylveon's in, then what does that mean? I'm gonna let Incineroar go down. I don't think I want Clefable to take the damage. Yeah, I knew they were gonna Leaf Blade there, so I critting. It's only 50%. It shouldn't be critting more than that. Okay, I think I'm in pretty big danger here. However, it is still possible for me to win, I think. Hyper Voice, Shadow Ball actually. Okay, if it's Shadow Ball, it should be winnable. I wish I had my Terra left. If I had Terra on Lapras here, this would be pretty good. I think I'm gonna run out of health is the problem. Okay, no crit. The question is, will I survive a Shadow Ball? Tis the question. Tis the question. Let's see here. So Shadow Ball comes out. I think I survived this. Gothitelle is really specially bulky and this isn't stab. Yep. Like it comes out. That was a really good time for the move not to crit, frankly. Doesn't KO. However, I have Moonblast. This is going to be down to the wire, folks. I do not know if I'll be able to win this. However, the good news is that the Sylveon is choice specs locked into Shadow Ball, which is just not that powerful of a move in the grand scheme of things. Meowscarada is the last. Okay, so we have all the pieces that we need to figure out if this is possible to win. Lapras does take a flower trick though, is the thing. Okay, cool. They get the KO. That's actually what I wanted because my last Pokemon is Lapras and I want to win this game with Perish Song. And so I think as long as Clefable survives this turn, I should have pretty high chances of winning because their Sylveon's really fast. And so even though it's a 2 against 2, here's the situation. It's a 2 against 2. However, in a 2 against 2, if Perish Song, all 4 Pokemon will faint, right? In a 2 against 2, all 4 Pokemon faint to Perish Song. However, what determines the winner of a match where all 4 Pokemon faint when it comes to Perish Song is whoever has the slowest Pokemon wins. Because the Perish Song faints in speed order, and whoever faints last wins. So, if my Clefable makes it through this turn, if it lives the Flower Trick and the Shadow Ball, this should do maybe 60%, maybe less. Less? Okay. I don't think I'm going down even to critical hit Shadow Ball. Here it is. Here's Shadow Ball. Comes out. How much does it do? Does Clefable survive? It does. A critical hit would have been enough, but it survives. Perish Song goes up. And so, there's 3 turns left in this battle. All 4 Pokemon will faint at the end of those turns. However, they could side knockoff, but that doesn't help them, right? It gives them Hyper Beam. But they're taking away 50% of their damage. So, okay. Protect and protect. This is not guaranteed over. There's still ways for them to win this, I think. Flower Trick. Okay, they could have gone for side knockoff, but they didn't. I think it makes sense. They didn't want to lose their damage output. Here's Shadow Ball. To Clefable. 2 turns left. And Clefable still being alive means I can redirect and take the Flower Trick that was intended for Lapras. So here's Follow Me. Here's Follow Me. This will Meowscarada is now forced to target Clefable with Flower Trick here. It's the end of Clefable. However, Clefable has more than done its job. Takes the crit. Goes down. My last Pokemon left is this Lapras. Here's Shadow Ball. Sylveon is choice specs and is forced to use Shadow Ball. Here we go. Not a lot of damage. Doesn't get the special defense drop. Here's Substitute. Lapras survives. And now there's just 1 more turn left, and all 4 of these Pokemon will faint. Here's Flower Trick. Doesn't matter. Into the Protect. Sylveon's final move here is Shadow Ball. Doesn't work. Lapras behind a Substitute. It's not going down anytime soon. And although Lapras will faint here, this is the end of the battle. Perish counter's hit 0, and Lapras has not cleansed itself of the Perish counter. It activates in speed order. First, Meowscarada. Second, Sylveon. And last but not least, with 0 Pokemon remaining at present, Lapras and Lapras' Substitute. It doesn't play the animation because the Substitute faints. With no Pokemon left, your winner is me. GG. Every Pokemon fainted. Every single one of them. But we were the victor. I actually think that Dindoza is not a good matchup against me. The question is, do I want to do Incineroar or do I want to do Clefable? I don't think that this is a Perish game because it's not super good versus a lot of the Mons here. And they have too much offense. The Forbidden strategy is not Perish Song. The Forbidden strategy is whatever I'm about to do here. I genuinely think this is a pretty decent matchup. Oh my god, they have Monatigo. They got Monatigo in this game? Oh. Okay, here's the Terra. Probably Steel, right? It's Steel or it's Flying. Yeah, Steel, that makes sense. All right. Sorry, Dragonite. I mean, sorry, Clefable. You are not making it through this turn, bestie. I could have Terra'd my Clefable here. You know what I could have done here? I think actually my position was good enough that I think I maybe have found a way to make it worse. Yeah. Because if this is Outrage, how much is this going to do? Clefable's gone. That did a lot, actually. Okay, I think I may have just messed up in a big way. I think I messed up, actually. I think I literally... the advantage is mine, but I think I messed it up. I messed it up. Okay, hang on. Oh, okay, yeah, I actually just lose. That sucks. Hang on. I think I genuinely just lost this because I was, like, not thinking things through. Yeah, I was fine, too, except that I messed it up. Hang on. Let's see if I can find a way to win this. Okay, hang on. There's...
Bruh.
No! I wanted to, okay, I can't win anymore. I meant to go into Galurk. I really wanted to go into Galurk there. Let's go Hypnosis here and Sheer. I mean, this is the win condition at this point, right? Sheer Cold Hypnosis. Ah, I can't believe I did that. Okay, Hypnosis hits, but it doesn't really matter because once I lose Lapras, then the game becomes pretty difficult, I think. Or once I lose Bronzong. Come on, Lapras! 30% of the time! It doesn't work, okay. Okay, that's my bad. Yeah, the thing is, actually, knowing now that I hit Hypnosis, I would have been okay, probably. Not as strong. Okay. It actually could. Could I still win this? Probably not. It's possible. It's okay. Yeah, I know what to do. And also, it's actually... I mean, I haven't hit a Sheer Cold without No Guard yet, but it actually is still possible if I get a little bit lucky. I just need to hit one at some point is the thing. Like, that's really it. If I hit one at some point, then I'm okay. Yeah, that's my bad. Yeah, that was super my bad. Okay, I learned a lot here. Here... Dozo. Okay. It's still winnable. I probably won't win this, but it is still possible if I hit a Sheer Cold. That's literally all it takes. One sheer... Oh. Okay, it's winnable. It's winnable. I might need a second Sheer Cold, if I can be honest. Here's Dynamic Punch. Oh, wait, I can Curse now. I did a lot. Good lurk. Yeah. If I hit Sheer Cold, I think I would still lose. Yeah. I think I don't think I can win this. I needed to KO the Denozo or like before I hit the Sheer Cold. Oh! Wait, hang on! It's doable! It's actually doable! I'm so goated! Oh, I should have Dynamic Punched. Wait, I can do it! I can still win, but only if Dynamic Punch KOs Gholdengo in a single hit. Otherwise not happening. Okay, let's not move too quickly here. Its moveset is Make It Rain, Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, and Trick. Tatsugiri has Draco Meteor, Muddy Water, Icy Wind, and Sleep Talk, which means that the only move that can damage Lapras is Draco Meteor. So if I go for a Dynamic Punch into Gholdengo and it goes down, I win regardless, right? Because then they have to lock into Draco, which they're never winning. I'll do it. I'll just protect. It's fine. Okay. I made Terra Fighting on Galurk specifically so that I could KO Pokemon like no bulk Terra Steel Gholdengo in a single hit. The question is, does the thing have bulk? Does it survive? It does not. It goes down. Gholdengo goes down to a single hit from my Terra Fighting Galurk, which never misses thanks to No Guard. Draco Meteor comes out into Galurk. It never misses because of No Guard, but it survives. Trick Room is up. However, doesn't matter. Here's Dynamic Punch. Draco Meteor again. Okay. I survive. That's going to seal it. There's no longer a way for them to win, I believe. Okay, who needs No Guard? Galurk took 3 KOs. Wait, no, it took 2. I got 2 Dynamic Punch KOs and 2 Sheer Cold KOs. Woo! Okay, let's give it a shot. Okay, let's do what I should have done game 1, okay? Which is number 1, wait 15 seconds. Cool. We now just know the Terra, and we also know what move they're using. And if it's Terra Steel, then I have counterplay this time. If they make the same play again, I actually have counterplay, which is good because I like counterplay. It's fun for me to do. Okay, protect. Now that they can't Terra Dragon as well, I'm a little less. I feel like less pressured to save my Terra. Here's Make It Rain, and I expect this to be Outrage. So the reason why I'm doing this is because, like, in theory, it's the same position as the last game. However, both these Pokemon are holding choice items, which means they can't switch their moves. So what this allows me to do is go for Trick Room, and now that I know what moves are locked into, I can actually Terra Water and Follow Me, which is nice. Because this means that I survive the Make It Rain. Did my Wi-Fi just go down? Is it just YouTube? Okay, it looks like just YouTube. Protect. Shh, Wolf, shh, not now, baby. Am I still alive? Is everything still okay? Anyway, here, now I don't have to take the Outrage with Clefable, with Dragonite. I can instead take it with Clefable. Clefable will go down here, which is okay. The question is, do I take -1 Terra Steel Spread, Make It Rain, and then Outrage through Reflect? That's the big question, right? So Clefable's down, which is good for me. We actually want Clefable to go down here, because now I get Trick Room up. The question is, are they going to hit the right Outrage target? And then how much is -1 Make It Rain, and then I think I'm going to survive a double up. Bronzling's very bulky. I lose to crit, but like I'm okay with that since I'm already up a game. And in a best case scenario, they Outrage hits Galurk and it goes down. Here's Skill Swap. So now No Guard's on Bronzong and Levitate is on the Galurk. Here's Reflect to cover my next move. Here's Outrage into Galurk. That's amazing. Oh my goodness. If this... Okay, as long as Bronzong doesn't get crit here, I'm in really good shape. Like really good shape. Great. Also, Outrage did a ton. I might have gone down to Choice Band Outrage there. And they're not confused yet, which is good because that means that I know that Dragonite can't switch here because it's locked into Outrage. So now, even though I've lost 2 Pokemon, let's take stock here, chat. I might lose this. I think I might be in trouble. Okay, they're switching Goldengo out. That actually is really smart because if they can stall through the turns, it's Dondozo, right? Oh, hold on a second. It's smart, yes. However, Dragonite goes down here. So it's a 2 versus 3 now. How many turns of Trick Room are left? Because I have an idea here. I have an idea, and it's not super obvious. Goldengo comes back in. Interesting. Okay. I miss Hypnosis. Okay. However, I KO the Goldengo. Dondozo's really fast. That confirms Goldengo is fast. So that's good to know. They can't Terror anymore. I go for Sub. That's actually really bad. If the last Pokemon is Tatsugiri, that's actually really bad.
Oh no.
Okay. That's a little threatening. I'm not gonna lie to you. That is just a wee bit threatening. Okay. This is scary. Because they can PP stall me or timer stall me and win that way. This is why I need 8 PP on Sheer Cold, which I fixed. Okay. So if they attack here, I think the advantage is mine. I don't know how much heavier Dondozo is compared to Lapras, though. I also don't know how much damage it does to Lapras with Heavy Slam. Okay. Not very much is my guess. However, with Bronzong still alive, despite taking so much damage early, I can Trick Room again and go for Sheer Cold. And there's still one thing that is active right now that I'm hoping my opponent has forgotten about. I should have taken the time. But there's one thing that... Oh, yeah. I knew it. I knew they would forget. Bronzong still has Lapras' Water Absorb. So I knew that if I protected it the prior turn, I'd be safe to set up Trick Room because it only has Heavy Slam and Wave Crash. Those are its only moves. Another Sheer Cold comes out and Dondozo goes down, re-showing Tatsugiri. Oh, poor little Tatsugiri alone in Trick Room against Bronzong and Lapras. Lapras back to full HP pretty much. And poor Tatsugiri, with only Tatsugiri left, can do nothing against Sheer Cold. Man, I was really hoping. I was really hoping that they, would forget about the Water Absorb on the Lapras. Sheer Cold comes out. That's the end of Tatsugiri. Lapras Sheer Cold 4 times. It hits 4 times. Sheer Cold 5 times. Hit the sub too. And that's it. That's the game.
I'm feeling full of beans.
This is not a good matchup, in my opinion. However, I do have some tools, and I have a couple traps that I can lay. I have the Perish mode, which is really good into some of the leads. The mouse holds Terra Fairy, and yeah, so like the Grimmsnarl doesn't have Parting Shot, though both the Pelipper and the Grimmsnarl are Terra Ghost, so it's going to be somewhat hard to trap. Clefable actually is really good here because I can redirect Beat Up, and I can redirect... I also am immune to stat boosts with Clefable because I have Unaware, which is one of the main reasons I use it over Clefairy. That being said, I think for this first game, I think I want to try and do Sheer Cold stuff. It's a little bit risky because like there's many ways... Like this is difficult to pull off for a number of reasons, but I'm hoping that I can make it work, basically. I can't read this. Yeah, this is what I thought was going to happen. This is probably... So this is going to be Taunt and Bulk Up, is my guess. There's Taunt. There's bulk up. I still had to make this play, even though I knew it was coming. I didn't have a better option here because Clefable, I didn't want to lose the mental herb just yet. I'm gonna use my Terra here because I don't want to take a +1 Rage Fist without getting Reflect up first. There's a couple ways this could backfire. They can go for Follow Me. They could also go for Taunt, which would be bad. I think they want to beat up though. That's my guess at least. If this turn goes badly, then I'm just, like, if they follow me here, I'm in kind of big trouble. Okay, they are terrestrializing into, might be Water on the Ape to stop the, yeah, it's Water Ape. Okay, that's good. That's actually really good because like that doesn't help them. Yeah, it should be Rage Fist here, right? Okay, I got the skill swap off. If they Drain Punch, I'm gonna feel pretty silly, to be honest. I'm thinking this is Rage Fist though. Okay, that's, oh, into that slot. Okay, that's, I didn't need to Terra in the end then, but that's okay. Okay, took some damage. Not ideal. Here's beat up. So now they're at max power, or like 4 stacks already, which is pretty not ideal. Okay, this is not ideal. However, it's not terrible either. They switch Annihilate out actually. Into, wait, I know this. Who's this? Grimmsnarl. Huh? Wait, what? Oh, they didn't. I don't understand. Okay, I'm in some trouble now. I knocked my own Galurk out. I thought they would follow me for sure. Okay, so I've got a curse on the Grimmsnarl, which is good. Which is a little under a quarter. Well, it does roughly 25%. Let's go into Lapras. If they get the 1-turn sleep here, I could be in pretty major trouble, to be honest. Because I've lost Galurk now, which means I don't have a chance to reset this later, and I didn't get Reflect up either. Bruh. Protect? Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. They didn't understand the strategy. That's really good. That's really good. That's really good. Thunderwave into Bronzong? Oh my god, that was lucky too. Okay, because that was one of the main ways in which I could be in pretty big trouble. Is yeah. Go for a sub here. Honestly, at this point, I mean, I don't even need Trick Room. I got the sub up. I got No Guard on Lapras. Bronzong is Water Absorb right now. Here's another turn of Curse. I mean, I still have Clefable at full HP, right? So I think what I should do here is actually just switch to Clefable and Sheer Cold the Mouse Hole to get rid of it, because I do want to take KOs, right? Bronzong switching out. I want to save Bronzong here because I don't want to take damage in case I do want Trick Room later, or in case I need to get Perish Sung up. I don't want to lose him on, and I want to keep Lapras safe. And right now, the most effective way of doing that is actually Sheer Cold, or is actually Clefable support. Sheer Cold comes out. It's the end of Mouse Hold. It's the 1-hit KO. Okay, it's 3 versus 3, but I have No Guard, Sheer Cold, Lapras currently behind a sub. Let's see if Spirit Break breaks the sub. I think I could survive this. Grimmsnarl's actually pretty strong. I don't think yeah, it doesn't survive. Because I don't know if Lapras will take 4 stacks of Spirit Break here. The curse that Galurk put on is actually doing a lot of work. I only had it to get Galurk off the field. However, it's actually like, I mean, it's done 75% of Grimmsnarl's Epitaph. Okay, Fair Water 8. Okay, they didn't protect. Okay, let's see how much the damage this does. Thunderwave, yep, makes sense. They needed me to make a mistake this turn. This is 4 stacks of Rage Fist, but I haven't hit it yet. It's only been the beat up. And so actually Clefable's pretty tanky. I think I survived this. Nope, I'm wrong. That's good to know. Bad to experience, but good to know. Did it say it was not very effective? I didn't know it worked with Oko moves like that. Okay, so it's technically not over. Technically, right? Because they still have a Pokemon left. 2 Pokemon left even. And if it's Sinistcha... Die. Okay, if it's Sinistcha, then what's the problem with it's Sinistcha? Then the Grimmsnarl will survive. Yeah, okay. Alicia. I still think that Lapras is probably tanky enough. Does it have Life Dew, this thing? It does have Life Dew. Matcha got your Life Dew, Trick Room, Rage Batter. So all I need to do to win is I just need to hit 1 Sheer Cold on this Sinistcha, right? I don't think even with the double up with Spirit Break, it'll take me out here. Here's Thunderwave. Yep, into Lapras. Gotcha comes out. Makes sense. Lapras blocks it. Yeah, I mean, support Pokemon are really good. Like these Pokemon, Sinistcha and Grimmsnarl, they excel at keeping the sweepers alive. However, I mean, like healing their health or reducing damage, it only matters when you're doing non 100% damage. And the thing about Lapras is that it's you know, it's doing damage. It should survive unless the healing is weird. Okay, as expected. Okay. Yeah, the way that I lose is like Thunderwave into Infinite Paras, right? So this hitting Hypnosis basically gives me another shot at hitting Sheer Cold. Because I will never miss. It's just a question of whether or not, yeah, that I get paralyzed. So this is the right play from them. This is the way that they win this still. Let's see if I connect Hypnosis. I miss it. They are doing the right thing. If they get a lot of paralyses, it's totally possible. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I could lose this. Honestly, I'm just grateful that the curse is stuck around this long, because if I had to deal with Grimsnar while this was going on too, it would be even harder. Of course, we are still in Trick Room. I do have the massive advantage in a single hit win through the game. So I should be, I should be favored here, right? Oh no. Is this happening right now? Okay, that's fine. Got myself some time. Eventually I should get through, right? Right? Bruh. Chat, am I going to lose this? Is that what's about to happen here? I need one. I just need one. I literally just need one. Are they gonna have the 1 turn sleep here? One turn of Trick Room left. I just need one. I'm not asking for a miracle. I need 1 turn. What is going on? Okay, Bronzong is trying to help here. Is that 4 in a row? That's 4 in a row. They paralyzed me once. I'm stuck in a loop. Get me out. Please. Cheer cold. Okay, 2 turns of sleep. Okay, there we go. All right. Took a while, but we got there. All right. Thank you, Lapras. Okay, I need to remember what's going on in this matchup because this took so long. I forgot how I was supposed to do. I mean, I have the Perish strategy. However, versus Mousehold, it's not actually that good, right? Because they can taunt me. Like Mouse Ape is just like, I need to lead Clefable, right? I can't lead with Galurk because they just lead an Ape Mouse, right? So I could lead Gothitelle and Lapras, go Fake Out and Perish Song into the Mousehold turn 1. This would also catch stuff like Arcalodon off guard, although I don't know how much that helps me. I would still have to deal with Boosted Ape, and I don't think I can do that, right? Because I can go Fake Out Perish Song, Protect Switch to Incin, and then lose, right? Fake Up, I can kill Mousehold, but that's not really the problem, right? Let's try the same thing again. And then if it doesn't work, I'll at least get more information on how I could proceed. Because they could also switch up their leads in a way that favors me. Like, they might not understand. They're going to lead Mousehold, right? Arcalodon Annihilate. That's pretty good for me, no? It's not that I need to keep Clefable healthy. Like, if I thought it was going... This Arcalodon doesn't have a steal move. Yeah, if I thought it was going down, that'd be one thing. Yeah, I thought it was something like this. Like, just go for the setup. You know what I mean? Take your turns. Maybe Electro Shot, actually, even though it's not boosted at the moment. Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I expected. So there was no point going for Follow Me here, was my thought process. This is now +1 Annihilate. Not that strong. I'm gonna go for Trick Room. I think I'm not... Let's see, my game decided otherwise. I think I'm not gonna Terradark here. I'm gonna Skill Swap and Reflect here. Because I don't want to give them super effective Drain Punch. Because although this is Rage Fist, it has 0 stacks at the moment. So yeah, I think I'd actually rather keep the Terra available. Reflect. This basically cancels out their +1 boost. Here's Body Press, okay, but that's a physical move because it's reduced for Reflect. They tried to hit me with both Fighting and Ghost moves, but because of Reflect, I should survive unless they crit. And now I've got 7 turns of Reflect. I've got 2 turns of Trick Room left, and I've got Sheer Cold, No Guard, Lapras active. Yep, and there we go. So now Lapras has No Guard, Bronzong has Water Absorb. Snarl comes out, okay. Bronzong survives. I don't know how good it is that Bronzong survives there, but it shouldn't be bad necessarily. And they go for another Bulk Up. Okay, so another +2. So I need to worry a little bit about this, right? Did they protect here? Let's go. Okay, that is the end of Arcalodon. Sheer Cold comes out, Arcalodon goes down. Briduradon. No Guard, Sheer Cold. There it is. Arcalodon, one of the tankiest Pokemon of the game. Lapras at -1 special attack does not matter. Does not matter at all, unfortunately. And actually, that means that now Bulk Up is less. It's probably Pelipper, right? No, it's Mousehold. Okay. This is +2 Annihilate, which is scary, but because Reflect is reducing the damage so much, they don't even go for the double protect, which is the one thing that I was worried about. Follow Me comes out for the Mousehold, so they're sacrificing their... What are they doing? They're sacrificing their Mousehold in order to keep Annihilate alive. However, my Clefable has the Unaware ability, and that ability basically says, I don't care about any stat boosts or drops on the opponent's side of the field. So even though this Annihilate is technically +2, against Clefable, this +2 Annihilate is actually +0. And I haven't hit this thing with Rage Fist or with anything to boost Rage Fist. So that's +2 Annihilate. It didn't even do 30 damage. Here's Pelipper. Here's Pelly. I don't need to KO everything with Sheer Cold. I have another way of winning. Yes, they can protect both the stall alternative reflect. However, Follow Me comes out, redirecting neither attack into Clefable. Clefable will be taking an attack, though it's the Perish Song. And now in 3 turns, no matter what the opponent does, the game is over. This is the real reason why I chose Lapras as my sheer cold user, because there are other one-hit KO move users. The thing about Lapras, though, is you don't need to hit all 4 Pokemon with sheer colds, especially if they have Focus Sash or Sturdy. You really just need to hit the 2 Pokemon that, you know, you can take out in one hit, and then finish off with Perish Song. There's nothing left they can do. This game is guaranteed over. Even if, like, they were to somehow KO both my Pokemon in a single hit, doesn't matter. There's 2 turns left of Perish Song. Bronzong has Protect, and so does Galurk. These 2 faint. There's 1 turn left. Protect, game over. And frankly, I'm not sure they're even going to take a KO here. Here's Drain Punch into the Lapras slot. Smart play. Weather Ball. Oh, Hurricane. I guess Weather Ball is stronger, but that's fine. Okay. 2 turns. 2 turns. 2 turns. 2 turns. How does he always hit the sheer cold? There's Drain Punch. +2 Drain Punch. Was that 20 damage? Here's Hurricane. Clefable hangs on. Sheer Cold comes out. It never misses with this setup. That's the end of Annihilate. And now we have a decision to make. We could try and save all 4 Pokemon if we wanted here. However, we would sacrifice somebody probably. Or we could go for Moonblast. Okay, they didn't forfeit. Okay, so if they go for Weather Ball into the Clefable to try and get a KO, then I'll survive. Moonblast will come out, and then Moonblast Sheer Cold will KO the Pelipper before it can move, or after it can move, but before it can faint to Perish Song. Okay, Hurricane to Lapras. If it doesn't confuse. Yeah, okay. Okay, Lapras took 4 KOs with Sheer Cold. That's just how good this setup is. I'm sorry. Didn't even need the Perish Song. Could just Sheer Cold everything. I actually feel kind of bad about that one. I'm sorry. When it works, it feels really good. And when it doesn't work, it feels so bad. I could do Perish. However, I could also do this. I think I'm going to try game 1 with the Sheer Cold stuff. And if it doesn't work, I'll just figure something else out. This is difficult. I think that, like, they could do Sneasel or Dragapult if they expect the Perish stuff. Worst case scenario is Kingambit in the lead, but that's also such a good... Gortron and Sneasler. Okay, that's okay. They got Gortron, but that's okay. It's alright. Okay. Yeah, I didn't need to follow me because I thought I was going down regardless. It's going to be putting a lot of the pressure on Lapras here, unfortunately. I should have taken more time. Shoot. It's hard because I'm really thinking through things, and so sometimes I'm like so involved in what's going on in the turn that, yeah, I forget. Okay, this is fine. Here's Reflect. When Hammer comes out, I should survive this. Nope. I should do something. Okay, Dire Claw. Okay, so the setup is solid. The real issue is the Sneasler, to be honest. I have Reflect up. I have 3 turns of Trick Room. I currently have no guard on Bronzong, which means Hypnosis can't miss. I think my play is to try and win with Perish Song, like KO 2 Mons and then Perish Song my way through. They didn't go for Grassy Glide, which I'm a little surprised by. Which is okay. It's just not ideal. First turn falls asleep. First turn sleep on the Rillaboom. Okay. Interesting. Okay. That's fine. Okay, they got the 2 turn sleep, which is good. Okay. If Sneasler stays asleep here, positioning is pretty decent. For sure cold. If Sneasler stays asleep, but it's somewhat decent chance to wake up. I could have also sheer colded the Sneasler this turn to break the Sash. However, yeah, I think I need to think this turn through a little bit more. And the thing is, there's just so much variability with the wake up turns. Okay. So I have Lapras behind a sub who's taken a Dire Claw. He's at full HP. And the opponent has 3 Pokemon left. Oh, it's Dragapult. Oh! Okay, I'll Sheer Cold the Dragapult and I'll Trick Room. Now, chat, there is something that we should be aware of, right? There is something kind of bad that can happen here, which is that Trick Room is now currently over, right? Trick Room is not currently active, as you can see here. And so what can be really dangerous here is that Dragapult has the move Phantom Force, which will cause it to vanish this turn, and then next turn it will reappear and do big damage. And the thing is, if I set Trick Room up, Dragapult will be invulnerable on the turn where I would normally hit it in Trick Room. So it will vanish this turn being invulnerable. I'll set Trick Room up. And then next turn, it will move last, but I won't be able to get around it. I won't be able to protect. It can be really, really dangerous. So why am I then... Huh? Okay. So why then, you might be wondering, Wolf, why then would you go for Sheer Cold? Phantom Force, this is what you expected. Wait, why would you Sheer Cold this slot? Isn't that, Wolf, isn't that really silly? Why would you do that? Because, here's a fun fact. Doesn't matter if Dragapult's in the Phantom Dimension. Doesn't matter if it's vanished from the field. That does not protect you from No Guard. The least accurate Sheer Cold of all time. The least accurate Sheer Cold of all time. Sheer Cold 30% accurate hitting a Pokemon that isn't even present in the battlefield. Doesn't matter. Works here. And the last Pokemon is Primarina. Yeah, I knew it was coming, but I still thought that this was like a better option because if I hit one of the two Hypnosises, then I just like... like Bronzong has nothing else to do. If I had Gyro Ball or something, that'd be good, but I think Protect is kind of important here. They go for the Protect, they fail. They wake up, they Protect. Okay, and here's Sheer Cold, never misses thanks to No Guard. That's the end of Primarina. It might be not very effective, but it looks quite effective to me. Oh yeah, I guess Sheer Cold is only 20%. Also, Bronzong is hitting its Hypnosises. That's like the third one that's not boosted, or maybe the second one. I think it's only the second one that's not boosted, but even still. Here's Sheer Cold. So long, Gay Bowser. Oh, they woke up. Hang on. Okay. I'd rather have Water Absorb than Poison Touch. They could still win this. It's not impossible. If they get the double Protect, then I would be out of Sheer Colds. Of course, the real problem here is that they could have just brought Magmar, right? If they brought Magmar, this would not have worked at all. But I don't know if they realize that. So I might be able to just run it back. Because if they don't realize that they need Magmar, truth is that the Pokemon, yeah, leading Magmar would make this really, really difficult. I was kind of banking on them not doing it in game one, which is why I did this. But I don't know if they're even going to realize, like, because the Lapras is so threatening, they might think that they need King Gambit instead when, like, yeah, King Gambit actually is fine with Clefable, right? Because I can just follow me all the moves. Anyway, we reversed. We went down 2-4 right away, and then we reversed, brought it back. This is the single worst thing they could have led for them. This is the absolute single, like, when I made this lead, I was like, I really hope they do one specific thing, and it was this. I should have checked to make sure they weren't Cobra Cloak. Black Glasses. Okay, Burn comes out. Fine. I have leftovers, so that's actually doing very, very little for them. I misunderstood. But it's okay. It's like, it's not a bad, like, it's still an advantage to me. Every KO matters so much with Parasong that, yeah, every turn just matters so much. Overheat, potentially into Gothitelle. I brought in Clefable here because although I could have had Fake Out Pressure, it would have then given them an attack boost. And if they want to go for Swords Dance, again, doubling your attack is really, really good. I'm not saying that it's not good. However, the thing is that Clefable doesn't care about the attack boost on the side of Kingambit. And even though Kingambit is a Steel type in the current format, most Kingambit don't run Steel moves. If they run Swords Dance, they run Kowtow, Cleave, a Dark move, Sakura Punch, a Dark move, Swords Dance, and Protect. And so even though this Kingambit is +2, unfortunately, it doesn't really help it that much because I can follow me, take this +2 and turn it into +0. And actually, I can Heal Pulse in the same turn to heal up any damage that... Okay, this needs to be Magmar or else they're screwed. Yeah, this is what I didn't realize, is that it's Ghost Magmar. Yeah, good play. It's Ghost Magmar, and what that means effectively is that they can get out of the Shadow Tag lock. This is, I didn't realize they were Ghosts. I thought they were something else. But yeah, actually, I might have made a mistake here anyway because of the turn. Maybe I made Gothitelle too fast. Here's Overheat. So Clefable takes some damage. Not ideal. Takes a lot of damage, actually. However, the damage will be healed off by Heal Pulse. It's slightly more efficient to have Clefable be faster, but whatever. And then Kowtow Cleave comes out, doing a good chunk of damage. It's a very powerful move. So now Magmar is able to switch out, which is not good for me. Which means I don't get 2 KOs this turn, which is bad. Magmar switches. Yep. I could have gone instant here, but I wanted to go with Lapras. It is Rillaboom. Okay, so then in that case, then I'm glad that I didn't go for... This is Rillaboom. I'm glad that I did not go for a Moonblast, because it wouldn't have done very much, and then I would have taken a ton of damage on instant. So let me go for Follow Me. So Lapras comes in. I still have my Terra left, whereas they don't. That's actually pretty valuable here, in my opinion. There's Kowtow Cleave, so doing a good chunk of damage here. I'm under half. However, I will be able to heal a bit of this back with Clefable's Grassy Terrain now. I'm a little over half now. That's pretty good. Grassy Drain's nice with Lapras as well, because even though I got burnt, yeah, it's actually okay. So, okay, Kingambit is one of the stronger offensive mons. This also means that Incineroar no longer has to be afraid of Sneasler. Okay. Sneasler? What are you doing here, Sneezy? Like, what I could have done is switch to Gothitelle and gone for Terra Ghost here. However, I think this is fine as well. Okay, they got into Lapras. Yeah, I don't think they covered for the Terra Ghost, to be honest. Okay, I could have won the game this turn, but that's fine. Now, both Pokemon are at -1, and because we've already... Normally in this position, they could just switch both their Pokemon out. However, because we have managed to KO the Kingambit, I don't need to worry about both Pokemon switching out. I can just Terra Ghost and Perish Song, and yeah, they can switch one Pokemon out. If they stay in with both Pokemon, then both Pokemon are trapped by Gothitelle, so they're in a lot of trouble. They stayed in with both. That's not necessarily. My Incineroar could be faster. I didn't actually... I should have checked the speed order. I've been lazy about that. Well, it doesn't matter now, I think. Unless they double instant with like Dire Claw, Woodhammer, and get like a poison or sorry, a sleep or a para, then they'd be in trouble. But if they go for close combat this turn, I think that the game is probably over. Okay, Ghost Terra up. It is close combat into the Goth, so nice. Yeah, nice. Well, I mean, nice job not attacking into the Ghost Terra, but it's not that much better. You need to crit on Gothitelle this turn or Lapras. Otherwise, I think it's toast. Don't get the crit. Crit would have KO. That's a really offensive Rillaboom. I could fake out him on as here if I wanted. Yeah. Okay. Clefable's in. Now, Clefable's unaware means that I also ignore their stat drops, which means both these Pokemon are technically unintimidated, which means that Clefable's almost certainly going down here. Here's Dire Claw. I'm going down to that. Sorry, Clefable. But Clefable is here as a sacrifice. It covered, yeah, it covers a lot of their... It covers the, like, some of the ways in which I could still lose this. Fortune goes for Woodhammer. It's fine. 2 turns left of Perish Song. So here my thought process is that even Dire Claw crit won't KO Gothitelle. What I was worried about was Woodhammer crit. And so what this allows me to do is, if I'd gone for Fake Out into Rillaboom last turn with Gothitelle, then what I was worried about was like, oh, what if they Dire Claw sleep me, right? Then, like, that would be really bad, and I would probably lose. Like, they can only attack one of my Pokemon here. Go for close combat into instant. This is -2, so I expect to survive. I do survive, which is very nice. Sneasler on. Or, sorry. Incineroar hangs on. I can go for Heal Pulse and get a ton of my health back, which is really nice. I still have a healthy Incineroar here, which is good. And even if that had crit, I still was okay because I would still have Lapras available in a 1v1 versus Magmar, which I think I should win. By the way, this Rillaboom doesn't have U-turn, so that's something worth noting. Even if Lapras goes down, I've played this in such a way that because they brought Magmar, there's like not an easy way for them to win anymore. Here's close combat into the Ghost type. It doesn't work on Lapras. They didn't really have a better move there, in my opinion. Here's high horsepower into the Ghost type Lapras. Does some damage, but not enough. Here's Heal Pulse, shrugging off all that damage in a major way. Lapras goes back almost to full HP. And then Perish counter falls to 0. That's the end of Sneasler. That's also the end of Rillaboom. And unfortunately, it's also the end of Gothitelle, but Gothitelle's more than done its job. It trapped Pokemon on the field for multiple turns, was able to keep them locked in there, and has done its job. It cleared the way. Over he comes out, because they are faster than my instant, which this does respectable damage. Maybe if everyone crit, they could win. Let's see how much the Throat Chop does. I would expect it to do over half. Woo, boy. Sheer Cold comes out and misses. That's fine. We're storing up luck for later, for when we needed to hit. That's why I went for Sheer Cold here, rather than Perish Song, because I was like, yeah. Over he comes out. Yeah, I had a feeling Instinct could solo, to be honest, against this Ghost type Magmar, and they were forced to Ghost type. They said, you are a phenomenon. It's very nice. I feel like a villain more than a phenomenon. Yeah. Yeah, GG's. Alrighty. I don't think I can do that. Like, I actually don't think I can do this one, chat. This is so bad that I don't even know which Pokemon to bring because I genuinely don't see a way to make it happen. I could try that. Also doesn't. I don't see a way to do this. Let's just YOLO it. Maybe they'll mess up. Copium. Yeah, I don't see a way to make this happen if they lead properly. I need them to lead wrong. That. More switches. Okay. Into Whomst. Oh no. That's game over. GG. I lose. Huh? Oh, hang on. Wait. No. I didn't lose. Not yet. I haven't lost yet. Okay. Okay. Think, Wolf. Think with your brain. Use your brain for thinking buttons. It's so doomed. There's no good moves. All the moves are bad. Gundito. Super. I shouldn't have terra'd. Jarvis, I made a mistake. Oh, please Shadow Ball. Please Shadow Ball. If they nasty plot, it's Gajover. There's no reason for them to Shadow Ball here. They're in such a good shape. All right, give me that. I need to borrow that. Thank you. Okay. The lag. The lag. I can't do anything. No! You've completely and utterly boomed me. How could you do this to me? I thought we were friends. Not gonna work. Can I even... Okay, I got the Intimidate down. So, I mean, the good news is I've stopped Ndozo's damage. The bad news is that everything else is far too powerful. Okay, here's Protect. Okay, Wave Crush is blocked. I need them to make it rain here. Okay, I at least got one drop, which is good. Oh, chat, what have I done? I'm a pink pony girl. And I fear that I dance at the club. Oh, mama. Oh, Lord, help. Someone help. In a perfect world, they would protect Goldango here. If they protect Goldango, I have a shot. They didn't protect, which makes sense because there's no reason why they should protect there. The nasty plot, or does it make it rain? They're out of their gourd. They called the no attack from the Ensign. Okay, they're out of their gourd. You know what? I'm just gonna... I think they're gonna protect, but I think that I need to hit this thing now. Wait, what does that mean? If I subbed, that was okay. Okay, this is +3 life orb Goldango. Question is, how much does it do to my Bronzong? Does it KO Lapras in a single hit? I could have subbed here. I kind of overthought it, I fear. Okay, it does KO... I've got my setup going. The problem is that everything is terrible. Okay, down to +2. It could be Timid, actually. Returns to Sleep, I think. Yeah, I don't know if I'm beating this one, chat. Because even if I need another Trick Room to go up, right? I think that's the only way forward. Even if they're Timid, does Bronzong survive? It has a chance to survive. Basically, I almost wonder if my best move here is to go into Bronzong and try and set Trick Room up this turn. Even then, that wouldn't work, right? If I get this call correct, then I could be okay, right? Because I could go for Fake Out into Goldango. Then does it wakes up? There's Wave Crash into Lapras. Okay. That's fine. That's actually best case scenario, I fear. Or I think. Is there a chance in the world that I could possibly win this? How many turns to Reflect do I have left? Does is faster than Lapras, which is fine. It's bad. Palmot? If it's Glamora, I'm screwed. Really, yeah, really. Nice job. Yeah, that's impossible. Terra. Yeah, they're faster. You know what? I should have U-turned into the Goldango. But truthfully, I don't know how much it actually matters. There's the end of my Lapras' sub. And I could have sheer colded the Glamora, but I thought it was... I didn't... Like, they left the thing on the field for so long that I was like, maybe it won't even come in. If that's going to make this almost impossible, I think, with the Toxic Spikes. Oh, I do have Levitate on Bronzong. I do have Levitate. Hang on. Hang on. It's still possible. Kill Goldango. It's the Palmot that's like making this impossible. If it weren't for Palmot, I'd be okay, I think. And if I still had my Terra left, that was the other thing. If I had either Palmot, like by Terrestrial in the dark, I really screwed myself over, I think. That was the main issue. Because if I had Ghost Terra here, I'd actually be okay. I could go for Ghost Terra, or at least be able to threaten it, you know? They have such an overwhelming advantage that there's no need for them to Revival Blessing. It's kind of win, like they can just win the game on their own. Doing this with the Intimidate. I had one more turn to Reflect. Good. Yeah, the Toxic Spikes. I'm assuming this is Fake Out into Ensign. Oh. I could have won. That's crazy. That's wild. Okay. How much is -1 Palmot do to my Lapras? 1 Lapras. Okay, chat. There is one world in which I could still win this, but it is extraordinarily unlikely. And I know it sounds crazy, but I genuinely believe that there is a world where I could win this. And the win condition is I get the double protect, which is a 1 in 3, and then I get Trick Room up. And I think I could potentially turn that into a win. Maybe. If I get the 1 in 3 chance, I almost never get double protect. I feel like I never get double protect. So I think this, we gotta start thinking about game 2, unfortunately. If they double this slot, if this is Sludge Bomb into Lapras, is there a chance? Is it possible? Oh? Palmont switches. Oh, so they can reset the thing. Gnosis connects. No way. Absolutely no way. We could still lose this, actually, because it's now unintimidated Palmont. Glamora goes down in a single hit, and Dendoza is asleep. Hold on. If I connect Hypnosis, I should win, I think. I think we are one Hypnosis. I think we have a 60% chance of winning. I'm pretty sure that if I hit, how many? There's 3 turns of Trick Room left. If I hit 1 Hypnosis. No way. No way. Lapras now connects Sheer Cold. Lapras is the second fastest Pokemon here. Palmont goes down to the Sash. I cannot believe this. Dendoza stays asleep. Palmont can't revive anything because it's asleep. It can't use Fake Out because it's asleep. It doesn't have Protect. Somehow, against all odds, I think Lapras is going to take home this game. Dendoza does not have the moves to damage me. Gnosis does nothing. Sheer Cold comes out. That's the end of Palmont. That was the only Pokemon that could, in theory, get rid of Lapras. Dozo, 3 minutes left until the battle ends. We're gonna win on timer. we actually probably could win on timer. Here's Sheer Cold. Gnosis comes out. Doesn't matter. Dendoza's still asleep. Lapras hits another Sheer Cold. Lapras lands 5 Sheer Colds to KO 4 Pokemon. Oh man! And somehow we win game 1. Okay, we're probably still gonna lose this set because this is just such a bad matchup. But that is certainly one for the books. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe we won. Chat, I know it was a good game 1 win, but I don't know what to do. Yeah. I'm just gonna play, assuming. Okay, if they play optimally, I'll never win, right? I think. So I'm just gonna start playing this, and I'm gonna take a little bit more time thinking through my turns. Ideally, I'm sure I'll say that and then just mash button immediately. Interesting. Goldengo, Glamora. Okay. I have Incineroar the Anxious and Bronzino. Bronzong. Do I even if they do anything other than Nasty Plot here with Goldengo, I think I lose regardless, which is the fun part of this. I died to Meteor Beam, even with the Assault Vest, which is crazy but true. So I need them to go for Nasty Plot, basically. Here's Meteor Beam. They don't protect, which is good. The thing is, I'm sure I'll still die to Make It Rain. They also could go for Shadow Ball and kill Bronzong, in which case it wouldn't even really matter that I got the KO on the Goldengo. Here's Meteor Beam. If it crits, I lose. If they Make It Rain, I lose. The Make It Rain, I might be okay.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's bad. I can survive depending on spread. I should survive this. Hang on. Yeah, okay. So I KO Goldengo, which is good, but now I can't get my strategy up, right? Which is really bad. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get... there's no way I'm going to be able to get No Guard onto Lapras. Oh, wait, but I don't need No Guard onto Lapras, do I? Do I now? Now, you know, if I can be honest... I can be honest for a sec. I don't actually need... I don't really need No Guard on Lapras. I can win this. 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 It means no Dozogiri. I could win this. It's not over, even though I lost a bunch of health. Switching instant out. Landing a Hypnosis would be really good here. Wrong one. Okay. Okay. I connect. It doesn't really matter because they have Natural Cure. But it's better than nothing. I might just have to hit a raw Sheer Cold, actually. I break the Sash, which is really good. It does half, which is good. Huh? They made a read. Oh my god, they made a read. Hold on. Oh, they can't damage Bronzong. Wait, Glamora can't damage Bronzong. Hold on. Dynamic Punch again? Okay. No. I took away No Guard. Bruh. Oh my god, how much sugar left? Oh, wait, that's not good. No Guard Hypnosis. Put Glamora to sleep because it's the main threat. The thing is, the Tatsugiri is Choice Scarf, so it has to lock into a move, and if it locks into Muddy Water, then it can no longer damage Lapras. And with Curse on Glamora, this is actually ridiculous. With Curse on Glamora, it'll die in 5 turns at worst, and in best, better. Sleep Talk. Oh, they messed up big time. Oh my god, they messed up Omega time. This thing is now completely useless. I'm gonna win. Glamora's only moves are ground moves poison moves and rock move, which it can't use in one turn, which means Bronzong hard walls it. Sleep Talk again. This is Choice Scarf Tatsugiri. It doesn't have another option. It has to keep clicking Sleep Talk. Glamora stays asleep here. The curse is still active. Dynamic Punch comes out. Doesn't connect. Doesn't need to, though. Another turn of curse. It's adding up. Oh, it's adding up real fast. That's over 50%. Glamora wakes up and goes for Spiky Shield. Blocks the Fake Out and the Dynamic Punch. Wait, how does it work if I miss? Fake Out into the Glamora. It's the end of Glamora. Sorry, that's the end of Incineroar. Incineroar knocks itself out, which is bad. However, Bronzong can now come in and it's not... There's no, like, threat anymore. Sleep Talk comes out. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I understand the Sleep Talk. They felt like they had to get the Sleep Talk right to win, probably, because, like if I... the obvious move is to Hypnosis Tatsugiri, I guess, in their mind, but... Yeah, I mean, whew. Here's Curse again. Curse continuing to add up turn after turn. I think Glamora's going to take one more of those. Going to Bronzong, even though it only has 9 HP left. I think at this point it's locked up. I know I'm like, oh, how can I still lose this? But I think with the Curse active on Glamora, I think it's actually locked up because that's going to continue taking down no matter what happens. And Bronzong hard walls Glamora. There's nothing it can do to damage it. Here's Meteor Beam. Smart choice in my opinion. They needed my Bronzong to protect this turn so they could KO it next turn to have a chance. Even then, they were never beating Lapras in the end. But let's see here. Trick Room goes up. They are +2 now. Here's Curse. Do they survive? I think they're going down. That's the end of Glamora. Sorry, Glamora. Golurk KOs Glamora. Shockingly. Yeah, GG. Oh my god. How did we win that? How on earth did we win that? That is ridiculous. Winning that set is criminal. I could just raw sheer cold stuff. Honestly, I could do it. Before the next round, I need to think about the other mode and see if that can work. Like what would need to happen for it to work. I think for this mode, I'm going to try this. This doesn't work versus all of their leads. However, it can be effective versus many of them. And frankly, that's good enough for me. What I don't want to see is Goldango Pelipper. Okay, that's not great. That's not great if you assume that I'm going to miss sheer cold, is what I meant to say. Oh, I'm actually faster than the Rillaboom, interestingly enough. I think I'm wrong. If they don't Terra Steel, do I survive it? It depends. Okay, Nesting one comes out. Oh, I could Water Terra here if I wanted. Yeah, they protect here. That's what I expected. And actually, here's the reason why this positioning is good for me. Because the abilities activate in turn order, what I learned is that what you will see here is that Incineroar is going to move before Rillaboom. Incineroar moves us first, and then Rillaboom gets the opportunity to go for an attack. In this case, it wants to go for U-turn to bring in Pelipper to allow, in order to allow Goldango to survive the Flare Blitz. However, as you can see from Grassy Terrain, from Intimidate activating before Grassy Surge, and a bit from the Flare Blitz going off before the Flinch there, I know that my Incineroar is faster, and this Goldango is Terra Steel, and so it has a choice here. It can stay in, yes, it can go for Make It Rain, but it's a Sulfast Incineroar. It's quite tanky, and if it switches out, then it loses the boost, and I get to get a Flare Blitz on something where, like, Poliwrath could take it, but then Poliwrath is stuck on the field in front of Gothitelle. What they would like to do is Make It Rain and U-turn to get the Pelipper in, so that they can protect the Goldango and stay in with Goldango. They could even Shadow Ball and U-turn if they wanted. However, my Incineroar is faster than their Rillaboom, which means they don't have the opportunity to go for a U-turn before I attack. Here's Protect coming out. If they don't go for the double with Goldango, there should be Make It Rain. It could be Shadow Ball. It'd be even better. Here's Make It Rain. We're going to take a lot of damage on Gothitelle, but we don't need Gothitelle to win this game. What we need to win this game is... Or on Incineroar, sorry. We don't need Incineroar to win this game. What we need to win this game, realistically, is getting rid of this Goldango, so I open up the Perish win condition. So I'm going to take a lot of damage here, which isn't ideal, but it's also not terrible. Here's Flare Blitz coming out. Lots and lots of damage coming out. That's the end of Goldango, and they're going to go for U-turn here. I could have gone for Terra Water and Side Heal Pulse, but I didn't think it was worth it in this position. The problem is that now they have more offensive positioning, but they actually make a mistake, in my opinion, and U-turn into Gothitelle instead of going for something like, yeah, I don't know, something else, like U-turn into Incineroar, which is guaranteed. So here's Pelipper. We expected that. How much does Gothitelle do? This is Sash Pelipper. Fluffable comes in. Here's the Terra. This is an offensive Terra, which is smart in my opinion. Don't need defense here. It's unfortunate. They're going for grass, going after Gothitelle, I guess. So I should have Psychic the Pelipper in hindsight. Play Weather Ball as well. They could have Hurricane. I think Hurricane was safer there. I'm a little surprised they went for that. Okay, this is going kind of bad. Oh, did they double the slot? Okay. The table goes down. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. Okay. So now we're... If I'd Psychic the... I should have just Psychic the Pelipper. I got a little bit over ambitious, I think. Pelipper's Ghost or Terra is stellar. Stellar Terra. Lapras, Ghost Terra. I'm just going to end up taking too much damage, I think, here. Get this health back up on Ensign. How much does Throat Chop do to Pelipper? I need to do roughly 50. This is like, because that turn went badly, unfortunately, I needed to. Okay, that's good. Pelipper flinches. Living U turns into Ensign. It's actually a lot of damage. The question is, what's the last mon here? Sneasler with Grassy Seed and setup options. That's not good. Okay, that might actually make it too difficult to win here. Okay. That's kind of bad, actually. Although now I could perish this thing. What are the moves? Dire Claw, Close Combat, Swords Dance. There's no more grass. Once the rain ends, there's a lot going on here. CC into Lapras. I die? What? Oh. Okay, I didn't think Lapras was going to die there, actually. Okay, that's shocking to me. That's really, really surprising. Hurricane. Okay, so Perish is now off the table. This is going to be instant or bust, I fear. No confused, no confused.
Oh, no.
Oh, please, 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 please don't hurt yourself. Please don't hurt yourself. Please, Gothitelle, if you attack here, I think we can win. It's going to hurt itself. Gothitelle, you Psychic? Okay, okay, I think it's still doable. Okay. Oh, this is going to be down to the wire. All right. So how many turns of all the stupid conditions are even left at this point? There can't be that many rain turns left, right? There can't be more than... If there's 2, I probably am still in too much trouble, right? All I need in order to win this, all I need in order to win is to get rid of this stupid Pelipper or stall out the rain. I think either works. Oh, the confusion makes things so hard. Okay. -1 Rillaboom and Pelipper, whose sash broken. Bruh. 2 turns left. That's too many. Okay. Oh, this confusion is making things so difficult. There's the flinch. There's Woodhammer into... Oh, yeah. 116. That's -1. What? That's -1, huh? Wait, what? That's so much damage. Okay, well, that sucks. A lot, for anyone curious. I need them to make a mistake, right? I need them to go for Weather Ball this turn, like Weather Ball, Woodhammer, and forget that Instance, Grass Terra. If they go for Hurricane, it's just over. Yeah, okay. If they Weather Ball here, and then they miss a Hurricane, I can win. Maybe. It's even that's like kind of... I think I need Throat Chop to crit KO here. Yeah, I didn't do enough. I needed one more... And you know what the messed up thing is? That the thing that kills me here is the one Psychic I didn't use on Pelly. God, that's strong. Okay. Yeah, okay. I mean, it was always a... Like, I shouldn't have done this. Pelipper's faster. Okay, well, that didn't go very well. It's a shame because I really got the early game going pretty well, but I messed up my turn. Like, I got the Psychic turns wrong. Like, I Psychicked the Rillaboom as it stayed in, and then I Psychicked the Pelipper as it's... What did I even do? Pelipper Goldango's not what I... Yeah, I thought about this before the first match and then didn't put it together in time for the second. So, I mean, this is bad, obviously. That's probably Goldango going to steal, is my guess. It's not Pelipper, most likely, yeah. So that's Steel Terror on the Goldango. This means that I can't hit it with Throat Chop for super effective damage, which sucks. Basically, I think having a 30% chance to win the game, to like be in the game, is actually not the dumbest thing I've ever done. It's not like good, obviously. There's Nasty Plot. Yeah, if this thing's allowed to just fire off moves, I think it just ends insta. Let's see Sheer Cold, baby! Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Okay. It's okay. It's so specific. Like, it's so hard to find, honestly. That I don't feel that bad for missing it. Babel goes down. Yep. I could still win this if I get like one lucky Sheer Cold and then like it's actually not impossible to win. It's just it's looking pretty doomed, truthfully. But it is still theoretically possible. Like, I could do it. I wouldn't... if I never hit a Sheer Cold, I'll never win at this point. But if I do hit a Sheer Cold, then I could do it. This is a position where Freeze Dry would be better than Sub, probably. Okay, if they protect both, that's pretty decent. But if they just protect the one, it's not so good. Okay, yeah, nice play. Hurricane to Lapras. All right. That does a lot of damage.
Oh, no.
Okay, all right. That's a 30% chance as well. Same odds of Hurricane what's it called? Okay, I got the sub up. Chat, be honest with me. Do y'all think Lapras is hitting Sheer Cold through confusion? All right, Lapras, you're confused, but you're not out of it yet. You're still got some fighting spirit in you, don't you? My old pal. Here's Make It Rain. I've made myself quite weak to Rillaboom. Alrighty. Lapras, nice job. Substitute, taking the damage. Lapras, okay, if you connect to Sheer Cold, there's a small chance we could win this. Actually, if I connect Sheer Cold, I can do it. Weather Ball into Goth, okay, nice Terra for me. Means no confusion that I have to deal with. To heal myself back up. Heal Pulse, Lapras restores HP. I need one Sheer Cold connect. I've used 2. I think my odds of hitting 1 and 2 are about 50%, but my odds of hitting this one through confusion are quite low. Let's see if we even get the attack off. Nope. I miss. Okay, fine. It's okay. It's actually okay. It's not good, but it is okay. Because here's the thing. With all my floundering around, I've actually managed to stall out. I've stalled out the rain. So as long as they don't go for Weather Ball this turn into Lapras, who's immune, which they really shouldn't do. This is the last turn of rain. If they make it rain again. Hang on. They didn't even go for a boost here. There's no way they went for they doubled Goth. Hang on, the rain is now over, chat. The rain is over. Wait, is it possible I could do this? Oh, please miss Hurricane. Please miss Hurricane. Please. Gothitelle, you're so good. Please miss Hurricane. Please, 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 please. Okay. We are actually in this. I went to instant. I was fine regardless. Okay. I'm actually in this game. No joke. I am legitimately in this game. It is possible for me to win somehow. Oh, wait. Sneasler's going to come in and I'm going to lose immediately, aren't I? There's Psychic. Okay. Big damage. Oh, no. I fought so hard. I fought so hard and I still lost. This sucks. I need them to close combat instant here. And then their last one is Rillaboom and then instant wins. That's the win condition here. And the Gothitelle survives a Hurricane. Let's see. Okay, hang on. If Gothitelle survives Hurricane, Gothitelle, please. If you live the Hurricane, do you survive 63 HP, but you're so specially bulky? Oh man, I'm so close. Miss. No, please. No confused. If the last Pokemon is Rillaboom. Okay, if it's Poliwrath, I lose. For sure. No chance of winning with Poliwrath. It's a Moongus. It's Rillaboom. They're -1. Yeah, they got the turn correct. Okay. I could have gone for Fake Out plus Heal Pulse, which would have been really good. Okay. That's a crit. That thing is so strong. What on earth? What are they feeding this thing? I think I'm still going to lose this, unfortunately. I think I Throat Chop here because I don't want to take Infinite Recoil, and I'll go for Heal Pulse. And because in this situation, okay, yeah, that's the end of that. It depends on how much damage. It depends. First of all, it depends on if Hurricane connects. It depends on if Hurricane connects. If it misses, I'm in really good shape. If it connects, it depends on how much it does. Here's Hurricane. Does it miss? It misses. Okay, Incineroar's still alive. I think I was fine because of the Assault Vest, but I was worried about the confusion. Throat Chop KOs Pelipper. So now it's a 1-against-1 of Incineroar versus Rillaboom. Am I going to KO this Rillaboom in a single hit? Incineroar, outspeed the Rillaboom and prove you are the stronger Fake Out user. Flare Blitz comes out. We're going to game 3. We are going to game 3. I don't know how we won that. Actually, that was a crazy comeback. And we didn't even hit any Sheer Colds. Pelipper Rillaboom. Pause? Yeah. Chat, we are not out of this. Chat, we are certainly not out of this one. We are. This is not the worst case scenario lead. There's like no damage on the team. Oh, you'll be seeing some damage. That Fake Out break is super important. They Fake Out into Bronzong. We trade Fake Outs. This looks like a losing trade. However, it's actually fine. It's kind of fine. The problem is that the Rillaboom's really offensive, right? Oh, Terra. This has got to be Pelipper, right? Yeah, okay, that's fine. It's not good. It depends who they're targeting. If they're just killing Incineroar, that's fine. But if they're going after Bronzong, that's a problem, I think. Weather Ball. Into Bronzong, right? Wait, maybe it hasn't turned its head yet. Oh, into Incin! They just took the kill! Incineroar! Dodge it! Okay, show me Woodhammer. Jarvis, pull up Woodhammer, please. I'm really surprised they went for that, honestly. But now they've lost their water boost. Woodhammer, okay. Good hammer. Still taking a lot of damage. It's too strong. Okay. Kirkham goes up. Alrighty. Okay, cool. So, -1 Rillaboom and they've used their Terra. and they've already gotten their water type boost. Let's go into Galurk here. 4 turns of Trick Room remain. They'll swap, okay. 8 turns to Reflect. This is helpful versus Sneasler and Rillaboom. I assume Sneasler's in the back because it's been pretty offensively threatening. U-turn, okay, not ideal, but not terrible. If they have a Moongus, it's just doomered. Show me Goldango, I guess. Sneasler, either one, either Goldango or Sneasler is fine here. It's the other mons that I have to worry about. Goldango, okay. In a perfect world, like KO my Galurk here. This might be a perfect world. Galurk doesn't survive this. Yeah, good job, Galurk. You are so goated. Honestly, you're so goated. Okay, cool. So, now what? I need to get rid of this Goldango somehow, right? Protect from Pelly, okay. Protect from both. Okay, so sub-hypnosis would have been better, but this is okay too. Okay, skill swap. Now we're down 2 against 4, but we still have 2 turns of Trick Room left. We still have our Terra available. Their Pelipper's in some decent trouble. They don't have easy switch. They don't have a clear way. They don't have a clear way of stopping Lapras at this point. So we've sacrificed half of our team. Galurk and Incineroar both went down. In exchange, though, Incineroar broke the Terra. Galurk set up Reflect and gave No Guard to Bronzong, who passed it to Lapras. And so with these 2 remaining turns in Trick Room, we have to make them count. We need to get as many KOs as we can here. Ideally 2. And if Bronzong can land a Hypnosis, that's pretty good as well. Goldango switches. This is expected. That means Pelipper stays in. However, they might not remember that Bronzong now has Water Absorb. Here comes Sneasler. I agree. It's the least impactful Pokemon on their team at the moment. There's the Grassy Seed. Going to activate on Burden. Sneasler goes up. Sneasler goes down. Here's Hypnosis. Connecting is a pretty big deal. The thing is, the rain is now ending on this turn. So, Fear Cold comes out. Okay. 1 turn of Trick Room left. If they go into Rillaboom, I think they're in big trouble. Goldango comes in, okay. So, I mean, I could sub here, right? Okay, they stay in with Goldango. What that means is that they no longer have a way of damaging Lapras because their Pelipper doesn't have rain. So it needs to go for Hurricane. Oh, wait, Hurricane hits because I have No Guard. Never mind. Alrighty. Twisted Dimensions return to normal. Rillaboom. What's the play? Like, this is the crucial turn. If this turn goes well, if we see Fake Out. Oh, wait, I could have perished. Oh, yeah, Perish wins. What am I doing? I didn't need to tell these Sheer Cold. It's fine. This is fine, too. Probably. Like, if I get an attack off this turn, I win. Fake Out. Okay, now the only lose condition is Pelipper gets the 2-turn Wake Up. Doesn't get it. That's it. No way to lose anymore. Well, okay, technically there's still a way to lose, but it's not unlikely to happen. Sheer Cold comes out. Rillaboom goes down in a single hit. Okay, as long as they don't Hurricane Bronzong, get the confusion, they would need to. They get Wake Up guaranteed. If they Hurricane Bronzong, connect, get the confusion, and then hurt and confusion. That's the way that they have a way back into this. Okay, that's it. Good game. Oh, the stream just went down. What the heck? Insult to injury. I cannot believe we won this set, and we didn't even hit any super crucial low accuracy moves, right? We hit 1 on Pelipper, which was helpful just to avoid confusions, I think. Wow. Unbelievable win. I cannot believe we won that. That is ridiculous. That's honestly, I cannot believe we won this. That is crazy. How did we win that? That looks so bad. So same mons as earlier, but there's some key differences. The Kingambit is safety goggles. The Sneasler's coaching. I don't think the other one was coaching. Dragapult's Terra Ghost with Terra Blast, which means that whereas the other one was forced to Phantom Force, this one can actually just blast through my Pokemon. Oh, it's not with the differences. It's a really hard matchup. I don't think this is gonna work, but I think it's worth a shot. Sneasler, Dragapult. Okay. So, okay, Sneasler, Dragapulty. Here's the Terra. This is most likely Ghost Terra or Stellar Sneasler. So you can't redirect coaching, which is something that I keep forgetting about, but I know right in this instance. Go for Follow Me. Go for Phantom Force. Okay. Truly, that's all right. Close combat. Okay. I got poisoned. So the Dragapult is faster than the Sneasel guy. Sneasler is the Sash, right? So I gotta watch out for that. Yep, okay. That's pretty bad. Okay. Metal Spirit, okay. Pretty bad. Yeah, that's pretty bad, unfortunately. Yeah, this is a problem for me. The end of my thing here. Is there a way to do this? Yeah, this is the position that just basically is impossible to deal with. Oh, he let me do it. Okay. Oh, wait, but now I don't have... Oh, is he just going to overheat me? Okay, I hit Dynamic Punch, which is really good. Okay. Okay, into Lurk. That's fine. That's honestly fine. Bronzong's the most important Pokemon here, and he goes for another Phantom 4. Okay. What should I do here? They're going for Follow Me, which isn't good. Hurt. Nope. Damn. Okay, here's Reflect. I'm assuming I take this, even with the Choice Band. I'm pretty sure Bronzong will tank this. I didn't check. Oh, into Galurk. Okay. Okay, so how can I still win this? That's the question that everybody wants to know. They're just going to keep Follow Me-ing is the thing. I can kill the Magmar. I'm going to go for it. I think that the win condition here is they hurt themselves in confusion. 1/3 of the time. It's like hitting a sheer cold. Thanks to Dynamic Punch Confusion. Come on! Golurk, your parting gift to the world. Please. Hurt yourself in confusion, Magmar. Come on! Hurt.
Thanks, everybody.
It's 8th.
Man, I am ending stream though. Hold up. Oy. It's like the devil. The greatest trick he ever pulled is pretending like he never existed.